we'll just be wholesome. We'll talk about the event. That's what we should do, anyways.
Yes. Yes.
All right. I'm trying to juggle about 800 bazillion things here across 3 monitors and my phone and about 45 Chrome tabs. So if I'm a little slow today, I apologize, guys. There's going to be a lot more things going on today than normal, but we will get into everything presently.
Busy stream. Yeah, busy stream today, guys. Busy
busy stream. But we'll give you guys all the info here shortly. We're just kind of waiting for some more people to get in here, waiting for Stash Builds to finish up his stream, and then he's going to raid our channel. This is all kind of part of this kind of weekend Clackers Care event, which has been organized by Visionaire to... I'll wait a few minutes to explain this. I'll wait till more people are in here. That way I don't have to do it multiple times.
Yeah. If people are interested.
This is the standard pre-show, guys. We're just making sure everything's working all right, and we're going to be getting into things very, very shortly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. You might see some new things on stream that we don't usually have here, and as I say, Brian will talk through those in a few minutes. But yeah, any music avail?
Any music avail? I don't usually play music during.
We don't usually have music on the stream.
During like an intro or a build stream, sure, but not usually. Not usually during the main show. Thank you so much for the bits there, J Chef. I also saw a few subs earlier that we missed. Scott Water, before we went live, says, good evening. Is this going to be a build or a weekly news show? To which I answered, yes. So once we officially start the show, I will go through everything what's going on, and you guys will hopefully understand what's the dealio today, because it's a little different than what we normally do. So I can see a lot of people being confused here, but don't worry, we'll clear it up shortly.
We'll clear it up. Yeah. Also, Jin, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub as well. 10 months now. He says, won that lime bunga. Woohoo. Congrats, man. That's a good win. That's a huge win.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Noxygen. Appreciate that, man.
A18 as well. Yeah. 10 gifts. He won gift subs. Man, wow. Level 3 on the hype train already, boys. That's where we're at. This is where we're up to.
Man, that's so wild. Norwinter asking if I've been eating something blue. Yes. Candy, blue candy.
Oh man, blue candy. That you had food poisoning the other day, and now you're eating blue candy. That doesn't sound like a good recipe for success. Let's be honest.
I'm assuming it was food poisoning at least.
Penguin, thank you very much for the 11 months of subs as well. Thank you, really appreciate those. He ate the blueberry switches. Yeah, pom is not very tasty. So
no, it is not. Dula, thank you so much for the 400 bits, man. Very, very kind
of you, man.
Guys.
Appreciate it. Oh, thank you.
You guys are so nice today. Quakeum's the only way out is blue. I don't know. Does this have something to do? Are we going to see more blue in the keyboard community now? We're going to see even more blue and white sets?
Maybe.
But do you think blue is the most popular color in the community?
Maybe. I mean, people like blue keyboards, people like blue key sets, people like blue switches.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
MX Blues are the big switch 2020 confirmed.
That's highly probable, right? That's for sure that's going to happen.
Very.
Yeah, I mean, I think even as clickies, I don't think I'd pick MX Blues. I think I would go Box Navies or the new Phoenix stems from Utsumu. They're quite nice.
Box Navies. Navy is a blue, right?
Yeah, it's a blue. Yeah, it's a blue.
Poor Yorick says, sorry, I don't see color. I feel you, man. I feel you. There's a reason I get made fun of around here.
Ooh, very nice.
Upas is right. There was lots of grey sets earlier on in the year. A lot of grey sets. So yeah, that's probably popular for this year. And there's been lots of grey sets historically as well. Most sets have a bit of grey in there.
Yeah, grey and blue, very, very popular.
Tasty.
It'd be kind of fun to find out what the most popular colors of the community are.
There's been quite a few yellow sets recently as well. Started with GMK Honk, and then the kind of like bees ones that have been honey.
Oh, Hive,
and a few of the ones as well. Yeah,
it's true. And I mean, could you say Nautilus is a yellow set in a way?
It's a blue and a yellow set, isn't it?
Blue and a yellow set. Yeah. So. Yeah, as well as what was there's another recent one too. I think had some yellow on it. Lux. Or is Lux considered a gold set or a yellow set? We're gonna talk about that today, of course. But,
Difficult
Merlin
one.
had yellow.
Yeah, and blue.
It's always interesting just to see like the phases that the community goes through, like with colors and trends.
Yeah, here's grey sets, here's blue sets, green next, maybe.
Yeah. Well, we kind of went through a pretty long green phase as well. I feel like green is a little bit more standard these days than it used to be.
Yeah, it's definitely coming up as green. Yeah, it's harder to get greens right as well. It's much harder to get greens right.
Yeah, definitely.
Orange's time is coming. We kind of had orange sets before. Peaches and Screams, Peaches and Cream, Ski Dolch, Ski Dolcher,
Carbon.
Yuri, yeah. Carbon, yeah, Carbon's a big one, yeah.
Carbon's a huge one. Yeah. Monkey.
It's a huge
that one. That one doesn't
Tasty.
get much traction these days, but Monkey was an
I wish
interesting
Monkey had ISO spot. I do have a set of Monkey somewhere. It's lying around somewhere.
Oh my gosh. Alex Sotos in chat. Great to see you around, man. Glad to have you.
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Also donating 500 bits. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate that.
Oh, 500 bits. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Heck yes. And we're only a couple minutes away from actually starting the stream, guys, so bear with us.
I got a nice handwritten letter from Huey this week.
Really?
The guy who just donated 500 bits. Yeah, he sent me a little box, and it had a nice handwritten letter in there, which was really sweet. Very nice of him.
Nice. I always love the handwritten letters in the community. Does Mike of Novel Keys still like hand do letters or hand do thank you notes for every package? Because I remember he was doing that for a while.
The ones I get. I don't know if he does it on all of them.
They're usually on the ones that I get as well, but I wasn't sure if it was like for everyone or not.
Is that just kind of like a sponsor thing, or is it?
That's what I'm saying. Like, does he only do it to like like friends versus customers? I don't know. I imagine Mike, being the nicest guy in the community, probably does it to everyone. If I had to guess, that would be.
I'd probably guess the same.
That would be a complete Mike thing to do. All right, and there is the prerequisite raid there from Stash Builds Boards.
Hey.
Thank you so much, Stash. I hope your stream went super well, and welcome all of you people that are coming over from his stream. We are going to be rolling in the intro here, actually, momentarily, and then we're going to get right into things, and I'm going to talk about all of what the heck is going on now, and hopefully that'll clear up some confusion in case any of you are currently confused.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, before the stream, Visionaire was like, "Oh man, everything's going pretty smooth today," and I was like, "Don't worry, I'll mess it up somehow."
We'll do something wrong. Yeah,
don't worry. In true top Clack fashion, something will go wrong here, just the way it is. No, Stash, you did not mess up anything. Don't worry about that, man. You were good.
Stash did well. Stash has done a great
Stash did well.
Talisman Solutions, thank you very, very much for the 20-month streak of subs. Thank you very much for that, dude. I really appreciate that.
Tasty.
Yes, thank you so much, man. And as well to Frothy KK for the 1,000 bits. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, that is most kind of you guys. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna roll this intro, and we're gonna get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Top Clack. I am your host, Quakums, joined, as usual, by my lovely co-host, Jay. And today's a little bit of an odd stream. You guys generally don't see us go live on Saturdays, but there are a couple reasons for this. So we're gonna talk about a few announcements and what's going on before we actually get fully started with the show, though, guys. So
ruining my weekend sleep schedule for this.
I know. Well, Jay, I just ruined your life all day, every day.
Well,
so that's kind of just how things go. But, we're going to try to make the best of this either way, and hopefully you are prepared for a pretty long stream, ladies and gentlemen, because just a few bits of info, I guess. This is going to be a 6-hour stream. That is how long my block is. However, this episode of Top Clack that we're doing right now is not going to be 6 hours long. It's only going to be part of the stream, and then I'm going to be working on a build stream right after that. So basically, what we're doing right now is this is kind of one of the Top Clack blocks for the Clackers Care stream event. We have 7 p.m. Pacific to 1 a.m. Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. So we have a 6-hour block, and we're going to be doing lots of keyboard stuff during that time. So like I just mentioned, this is going to be this week's episode because we did not do one on Thursday like we normally do. The reason being is because I was very, very sick, and I could not be at my computer long enough to do a stream. It was just not happening, unfortunately. I'll spare you the gross details, but it wasn't a fun day.
He didn't spare me the gross details, guys. He didn't spare me the gross details.
Well,
I got them firsthand.
I gotta ruin your life, Jay. But yeah, I feel a bit better now. I don't feel completely better, so if I'm a little off today, I apologize for that. But I'm just not really doing too well the last couple days. But we're gonna try to make the best of it and make this a fantastic event. So the Clackers Care event started today at 12 Eastern, I believe, so 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
And it goes until, I'm going to get this wrong because I think it was changed. I think it goes until like 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. So it's about a 33-ish hour stream event in total. And the way it works is that there are at least 10 streamers that are participating in this, and we're just rating each other through like a train of streams, basically. So we're always having some kind of streamer focusing on this event and putting out the content in part with this event. And that's what we've been doing, and it's been going pretty darn well, and hopefully Top Clack doesn't mess that up, and we can safely and smoothly go into the next streamer, and we can continue it on until the next day, and it'll be a pretty good time, hopefully.
Let's be clear. If anybody is going to screw this up, it's going to be Top Clack, right? Because we are the kings of scuffed streams. If it comes to scuffed streams, where you guys, this is where you come to. This is where you come to.
People still ask about my blue tongue. It's candy, guys. I'm sorry. It was a candy. it was a blue raspberry Jolly Rancher kind of candy. So I apologize.
Yeah,
but that's why. It's not because I'm dying. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully it's not something that's going to kill you.
But anyways, that's what happened on Thursday, and that's what's going on with the Clackers Care event now. And then, of course, after this, I will be doing the build stream. So stay tuned if you want to be in for the long haul.
Lots of content. And then we're actually rounding out the Clackers Care initiative tomorrow with my stream. I think mine's the final stream, unless anything's changed. But when I was last looking at the... Oh, is one after me now? Okay,
I think
great,
so.
Cool. I've got some time. Yeah, excellent, cool. I think when I was looking at the schedule earlier on, there was no one after me. But yeah.
Oh yeah, you were last, but Minterly is now on the schedule right after you. So I think she has the final
awesome.
block. So cool.
Excellent,
stuff.
That's great. Something to do. And guys, we've got, as you can see above,
gosh.
Above
I'm gonna cut you off just for a second because J Chef just donated $200 to the direct relief for the Clackers Care.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
There we go.
That is very, very kind of you. And now you guys finally heard what the alert is going to sound like throughout the show. Whenever someone donates, I don't know if you can hear it, Jay. I imagine you can't, but I sure can, and they can as well. It's a very nice, positive, like wholesome kind of sound. I like it. There it is again. This is good. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I won a
$250.
Oh my god, you guys are starting off so strong. I wasn't honestly sure like what kind of traction we would have at this point. Because the goal seems a little high, but then I think about it and like this community is like really, really generous, so like I guess it's not really out of the question. So
So I want to set a challenge. For this stream. Okay. I want to see it go past the $4,000 mark at the end of the stream. Whatever we have to do to get it to that $4,000 mark, that's what I want to do. If you guys have got challenges for us when we come to the Q&A section at the end of the stream, and if we can do something live on stream that's going to get you to donate, and it's Twitch safe and it's not against terms of service, watch it. Then we will try and do some mini quick challenges as long as it doesn't take too long and eat into Brian's build time to try and get to that $4,000 mark by the end of this particular part of the stream. It has to be Twitch safe. It has to be Twitch safe.
That's ambitious, but I like it. I like where your mind is with this, Jay. So we're gonna go ahead and try that out. Of course, if any of you want to just donate, just spontaneously and just casually, feel free. You can use the charity command in chat, the exclamation mark charity, and that'll give you the link to donate and all the good stuff there. You can also look at our title. You can check out the other commands that we currently have. You can do charity, auction, or Clacker's Care. All of those will get you more information about those particular things. And yeah, the silent auction that's going on right now is also pretty darn insane. I've been watching the numbers for the auctions just kind of slowly and surely go up on all of them, and man, there's some high bids on some of those items, and there's a lot of really cool things as well. And
some of them really surprised me as well. Some of the numbers are really good to see.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll be talking a little bit more about the auction and the items that are being given away during the build stream portion, because I'll have a little bit more time. This being the more news-focused portion of the show, rather, I think is just going to be a better way to do this, and we'll just do the build stream afterwards, and then we'll kind of focus on the news, because today's news doc is pretty healthy, to say the least. It's going to be a fairly long show, but we're going to try to get through it in a timely manner. You guys know the drill. Nothing new here, guys, but yeah, if you guys want to donate to the charity Direct Relief, please feel free to do so at any time throughout this stream. And feel good about doing it, because it's a great cause. Okay. Shall we talk about some news, Jay?
Yeah, let's talk about some news. Where do you want to start this week, Brian? What are we starting off with?
Oh, man. All right. Well, let me get my bearings right across all these things. Okay.
Ooh,
We are starting out with another gifted sub from Talisman, so thank you very much. That one went to Depleted Vespine, 264th gifted subs in this channel, so thank you so much, Talisman. Greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Visionaire, I will fix it now. The auction command needs a dash between silent and auction in the URL.
Oh.
Let me fix that now. Let me fix that.
I told you Top Clack would mess it up. I told you, man. I told you. I must have missed
let's be clear. This bit was Brian.
It's always me. It's always.
It's not always you. It's not. Okay. So that should be fixed now. Test that, guys, and tell me if it's still broken. But that should be fixed now.
All right. Hopefully that's better. I copied the original command. I guess it got modified. My apologies. I missed that.
I think that's fixed. I think it's fixed. I tested the URL. The URL worked for me when I pasted it back in, so it should be fine.
Okay.
It should be working.
Yeah, right. Bear with us, guys. This might be a little scuff, so we apologize, but we're gonna try to get through it the best we can, and it should be a pretty good time. All right, let's start us off this week first and foremost with the interest check for the Tinned. And you know, we have covered this before technically, but this board has just been like fully reworked so many times, and now that we actually have some more finalized info for it, I think now is probably a good time to take another gander at the newest iteration of the Tinned, because this keyboard has been a journey for a lot of people, I think, in this hobby, and even though it hasn't launched yet,
you especially, yeah.
This has been tugging at my heartstrings since 2017 when it was first teased. You know, even when I got my first Fiel in 2016, I think it was. Thank you so much to Upas for that $20 donation there for the Direct Relief. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are already so generous. I love it. So freaking nice. So, yeah, let's talk about this Tinned a bit. So, like I said, it has gone through, I don't even know how many revisions, but it has been quite a few. There's a physical prototype here as well. So once I find a nice picture here, I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to read you off a few specs here. So aluminum housing, nothing out of the ordinary there. 8-degree typing angle. PCB is going to be by Wilba. It's going to be one of the WT60 series PCBs, so kind of like the one that's currently on Mekanisk, I imagine, but maybe a few minor changes. But it's going to be, you know, more suitable to this board in theory. But, you know, being a Wilba PCB, we can kind of surmise, at least, that it's going to have a few things. It's going to have VIA. It's going to have USB-C. I think this is going to be done via a daughter board by the looks of it. And, you know, it's going to have all that fantastic Wilba goodness, and it's probably going to look fantastic and probably have flex cuts as well, which would be pretty nice. All the cases are going to be serialized, and he does have a picture of where that is right there, kind of in that upper top left corner there. And there's going to be a couple different plate options. So you're going to have brass or carbon fiber, and you're going to have your choice between ISO and ONZI, And then you might have a choice between full and half as well. So 2 plate materials, 2 layouts, and 2 potential options for half or full plate. Color options are going to be very limited here, but I think you made the right choice. So you're going to have 2 color options here. The Ultramarine, which I think is like the pinnacle of the Mekanisk color catalog. And then you're also going to have the round 1 dark gray that we got on the Fiel, which arguably it's amazing. It is absolutely my favorite gray. And I'm glad he went with those 2 colors if he was going to limit it to just 2. A couple things that are maybe a little unfortunate for some people is this is not going to be a large-scale group buy. It is going to be limited. It's going to be capped at 100 units, and it is going to be done raffle style, aimed for late June, so next month. So, you know, if you were hoping on getting in one of these, I definitely wish you the best of luck. It's definitely possible, but 100 units raffle style, I think a lot of people are going to miss out on this, at least in this first run. Hopefully there's going to be more runs. This is kind of a Mekanisk thing as well. When he maybe switches to a new factory, you try something, you know, completely new. He likes to do the smaller runs just to make sure that he's able to keep up and handle everything in that run, you know, especially with multiple SKUs. You know, he's going to school, etc. So I think he just wants to make it a little bit easier on himself. So I can kind of understand it. It'd probably be pretty hard for him to take on, you know, a full unlimited run because, let's be honest, this board would probably easily sell 300, 400, 500 units if left unchecked. So
yeah, it's interesting how we call a 100-unit run a small-scale run these days. I mean, if you just think about how far the community's come, 100 units at one point would have been a massive group buy, and now it's just... That's 5 minutes of sales when they go live. You know, it's crazy. But this board is something I've been looking forward to as well, Brian. I think there's some really interesting things about the mounting style here as well. So whilst this looks like the standard gasket mount where you have tabs that you rest on a gasket on the bottom case, and you've got a gasket on the top case that kind of compresses the plate and holds it in place to isolate it from the case, it's got some slight different tweaks and quirks that make it a little bit different. So first things first, there is 6 along the top and 6 along the bottom. Most boards tend to use larger tabs and have fewer. This board has smaller tabs and uses more. That could affect the sound and the feel a little bit. I imagine it'll feel a little bit softer because there's thinner pieces of metal that you're using. The other thing as well is that the actual gaskets are slightly different. So the gasket on the bottom is actually thicker and has more compressibility than the gasket on the top, which should mean that the bottom out is quite nice and soft. So Brian, I think this will really go with your typing feel that you like and the experience that you like on a board. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but it's definitely a must buy from me as well, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting though. So just a couple things to go over. So price $400 is the estimated base kit price here. So it's not going to be a super cheap board. This is meant to be a premium high-end custom keyboard option. You know, the Mekanisk flagship, if you will. So not totally unrealistic there. As far as the typing experience, I mean, so I do prefer a softer typing experience, and I think that's definitely going to be something happening here. But it's kind of interesting that he opted to go for definitely stiffer plate material choices. So I don't know what he's actually considering before, but obviously carbon fiber and brass are both fairly rigid as far as plate materials go. They don't offer a ton of you know, a ton of bendiness, a ton of flexiness, but you know, we could still see a pretty soft typing experience based on how those gaskets play out. I think that's going to be actually a lot more important than the actual plate material itself. So this is going to be a really interesting typing experience, I feel like.
It is. It's going to be like some of the other boards that have used it. So I don't know if you've used a firm plate in the Kepler, but that kind of mount, it's designed to be soft, like in the JO one as well. It's designed to be soft, but work with a firmer plate, so you have a more consistent typing feel. I think the Iron's very similar to that as well. So the Iron 165 had a very firm plate material choices, but it had cuts made at certain points to make it sure that it was very even and consistent in terms of feel. And that's one thing that I think this board will have, a very consistent feel, but it will have a slightly different feel to those other boards because of the way that gas are having that softer material on the bottom for more compressibility and a firmer material on top will really impact how it feels.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out, and he does so in the thread actually right here. But the prototype photos are super low quality, so you know, you might see things that aren't actually there. He says artifacts not seen in real life just because of how low the quality is. So it's cool that we do have prototypes already made and we have pictures of them, but obviously it'll be nice once we have much better pictures of the prototypes. But seems like it's coming along pretty well. He seems pretty happy with it, so that makes me excited to know that he's, you know, excited about it. So
yeah, and I'm sure if it goes well, there'll be future runs as well, like his other buds, like the Fiel and the Clipper, and all of those kind of things. He's it's likely that if you don't get in on the first round, there will be more rounds.
Yep.
Hopefully, eventually with a wing keyless edition, because that would be right up my street.
yeah, I saw a couple people complaining about the top choices in the thread, actually, that there is only a standard top. So you're not going to have HHKB blockers, you're not going to have a wing keyless blocker option at all. You're only going to have this one open standard 60 top option. Which I think is fine as well. It's going to keep the skew down a little bit more and less work for him. And if that's the way he wants to run it and that's his vision, then I think it's more or less accepted at this point that as a designer and a vendor, then that's fine. Yeah. So, but yeah, he also, like Upas mentions in the chat, he might run those in the future as well. So, like I mentioned before, I think he's testing out either a new factory or something new as well as the design. So he wants to keep the run kind of small to make sure it's really manageable for him to be able to handle on his schedule, which is totally fine. Totally reasonable, totally respectable. So there you go, guys. Absolutely. That's the tinned reworked. It's at least slated to come late next month. So look out for that, and hopefully the timeline is correct, because I've been taken on a runaround with this board. I feel like it's just been teased so many times and reworked so many times, and I still don't have it. I still don't have one. But I'm very much looking forward to getting one of these. So definitely, definitely look out for this. All right, let's go ahead and move on. I know, right? Maybe we can get a prototype for, like, even temporarily to build that. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and move on. After thanking the Pokemon Kid for that $20 direct relief donation, thank you so much, man. Keep those donations coming, guys. If you want to donate to a good cause.
I think we missed Scott Waters' $100 one as well, because that was the previous last donation. Yeah, I don't think we called that one out, but thank you, Scott, for that donation if we didn't before. Thank you, dude.
Is there a place that shows a list of the most recent donations? Because it doesn't do it in OBS.
It just shows the last donator on the top of the bar at the top of the screen.
Okay.
So I'm just keeping an eye on that and checking it every minute or so. But I did see that.
Okay.
Scott had been the previous donator. I think the Airwinner has got the top donation at the minute of $250. I think we can do better than that. I'm sure someone can do better than $250 for such a good cause.
$250 is a lot. That's a lot of money. All right. Oh, Visionary sent me a link. I'm gonna go ahead and just open that in another browser real quick.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Now I have a list. Okay, that makes it a little bit easier, just in case I need to go back and check at any given time. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next interest check, shall we? We have a lot of topics to cover today, guys, so I'm going to be taking it at a little bit of a speedy pace when possible. All right. Next up, we have the interest check for the Iki 68, I believe is how this is supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah,
Iki,
let's go with that.
I'm assuming it's Japanese, maybe? Iki? I actually don't know what it means, but yeah, it's a pretty interesting keyboard with a fairly interesting layout that we've actually seen a couple times recently, I feel like. But let me run off a few specs before we talk about our feelings. Aluminum housing, 6.5 degree angle, carbon fiber plate, aluminum nameplate, a $12 brass weight add-on, which I'll talk about more momentarily because I think it's kind of interesting. It's going to be a couple different versions for the PCB. So you're going to have a standard version that has a wired QMK PCB, and you're going to have a Bluetooth version that has a non-QMK PCB, but it is going to have some kind of software for programmability, apparently, but don't really have any more info on that. That's going to be the Pro Kit, which also states that it comes with a battery, which I thought was kind of interesting, because usually you don't see batteries being shipped, especially internationally. So that's kind of interesting.
Difficult to ship.
Yeah, so this seems kind of odd to me. But furthermore, they're really going for a home run here, and they're trying to do as much as possible, and they're adding another option as well, what they're calling the Typewriter Case. For $190, you can put your iPad or tablet in here, from what it sounds like. And
the rail tablet system. Yep.
Yeah, and do you put like your keyboard in there as well? Is that how this is supposed to work?
The idea is it becomes a typing station, and it comes to try and emulate all of those traditional historic typewriters that we used to have in word processors. And you put your tablet in the slot at the back, and it holds it upright. And then you put your keyboard in the case, and you've got this kind of nice, sturdy, almost kind of like desk portal system to use your iPad with as your computer. It's kind of interesting.
Sure.
I kind of like the look of that. I'm not massively fan of the keyboard itself, but I kind of do like the typewriter aspect of having that solid chunk of a case that's kind of a permanent fixture in your desk to turn it into a workstation. I kind of like it.
Yeah, so the pricing here is not terribly expensive, I guess, from the looks of it. The base kit is going to run you about $269, while the slightly more expensive Pro kit, the one with the Bluetooth PCB, is going to be $289. And if you want that typewriter case, that's going to be $190. That's going to be a bit of an add-on. But like I mentioned about the weight, which I thought was kind of interesting, if you look at the exploded picture here, it looks like the weight screws in from the inside of the bottom. Pretty normal stuff. And then there's a cutout for the weight to be seen through there. Now, the weight is a $12 add-on item. I imagine most people are going to do it. Let's be real. It's only $12. It's a custom keyboard. But if you choose to not go for that option, does that mean you're just going to have a hole where the weight should go? Or is like there going to be something else that replaces that?
Yeah, I think the way I read it is that it kind of comes with the standard one. You can add additional ones on. That's kind of how I was expecting it to be, but it doesn't confirm that anywhere. But I do feel like it will be, because this is add US $12 with the kit. It feels like it's an add-on. I don't think they'd leave a hole in the case. That kind of seems
right
a little bit unusual if it'd be a hole. Yeah, I can't see that. I more see it as being you can add an additional color. So if you picked one that had a blue weight, you could add additional colors or whatever. You could add a brass one, or maybe it comes with an aluminium one and you can change it and upgrade it to brass. Maybe
that's what I'm hoping for. I'm assuming just maybe
it's one of those two options.
Yeah, maybe your base kit comes with whatever color top you choose. Also comes with that accent on the bottom. Shout out to Bledden, who I saw donated $20, as well as Gio, who just donated 50 for the direct relief. So thank you so much, very very much, you guys. It is all going to a fantastic cause, and we're getting up there on the. We've only been live for like half an hour, and we've already added like
$400. Yeah,
it's like I think 500. I don't know. It's been a while so far. Okay. Yeah, people are going hard already.
Well, we've got to go for that $4,000 total by the end of the stream.
That would be cool. Yeah, that'd be super
$4,000 cool. Folks. That's what we're aiming for.
Absolutely. All right, so they're looking to launch this in the next couple weeks once they receive the prototype. But is this something you're looking forward to, Jay? Do you think you're actually going to pick up one of these?
I kind of like the idea of putting it in the case. I don't like the layout on the keyboard itself. So for me, I would have preferred this if it was either a standard 65% or kind of break it out and do a TKL version, because I don't like that cluster of 4 keys, Magic Force 68 style layout in that top right hand corner. I'm not a fan of that. And the biggest gripe I have with this keyboard is the way that the arrow cluster integrates with the main 60% portion, because it has that kind of 65% style blocker there, but then there's nothing that goes across the top. It just doesn't kind of work for me. It just feels, I don't know. It feels like the design's not fully thought out, and the way that the vertical blocker comes down to the top of the arrows, and then the blocker comes up to the left of the arrows, and there's nothing to join the two across.
Yeah.
It just feels like that's broken. I don't like the way that visually looks. I'm also not a fan of the badge in the kind of the standard the gap between the 4 cluster at the top of the arrow keys. I'm not a fan of that badge in that gap. I don't mind the little logo to the right of the up arrow. That kind of makes sense, and I know that that's a micro perforated logo, which will probably mean it's got LEDs under it and things like that. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of that kind of the badge on top and the layout there. It would have been better as, I don't know, like either do it as a proper 65%, or if you're going to split it off, do it as a 66 key or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems fine, but I kind of agree with you, especially on the blocker situation. Doesn't the Varmillo VA68 or whatever use that kind of same setup with that like very tiny kind of spacer here?
Yeah, I think the Magic Force 68, the Vermillo one, and there's a couple of other boards as well that do it. And I'm just not a fan of the way that looks visually. It just feels a little bit broken to me. It feels like there's part of it missing. I'm also not a fan of the text on the back. So on the back of the case, right underneath the USB port, there's some text there as well. Not really a fan of that either. It kind of feels a little bit inconsequential. But hey, some people might like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it seems like a fairly fun product, especially with the typewriter case.
The typewriter bit's cool. Yeah, that's like genuinely cool.
That's like the coolest thing about this, in my opinion. So definitely not for me, but seems kind of fun. Seems kind of playful. But potentially better options on the market, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think there's anything else where you could turn it into that typewriter experience. Yeah. But I'd kind of like that. Maybe a generic case that allows support for an iPad and you can put any board in it. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should just update the J series and change the magnetic pen rail for an iPad stand. Maybe I should do that.
There you go. There you go. Well, then you'll just be you'll be stealing their.
It wouldn't
ideas.
be the first time I'd considered. Well, it wouldn't be the first time I've considered that. We actually talked about that, and I actually have some pictures of when we did the JO2 prototype back at the back end of last year, where I actually tried to do that, and I scratched my wife's iPad. So yeah.
Love it. All right, moving on here. Let's get to our next interest check, of which there are many. This is the Clarabelle, I think is how it's pronounced, by the Royal, a Southpaw Mini 1800, as he claims. And this is another pretty interesting board that is fairly different, honestly.
Yeah.
This is
big fan of this one.
This is pretty crazy. So yeah, let me run off a few specs here that we can talk about how we feel about it, of course. So we're gonna get a pretty gentle 5-degree angle, aluminum housing, brass plate and badge. It's gonna have a pretty nice PCB with QMK, Type C. It's gonna have a RGB caps lock indicator, kind of interesting. You're gonna have ISO and ONZ layouts. It's gonna be a few predetermined color combos, which we'll show off just in a few moments. And it's also going to have a 100-unit cap launching on my birthday, actually, June 15th, at $350, I think is going to be your base kit price as well. So this is... How do you feel about this layout in the board?
I really like this. So one of the things I mentioned last week on the show is that I don't have a Southpaw board, but I always find that numpads are too big and I could never find it. I might have been the week before when we talked about numpads, and I'd never found an actual layout for a numpad that worked because I kind of need like an FN key to do different things and to have arrows there as well. And this kind of fixes that. So it gives me everything I need at that side of the board by putting the arrow keys there and putting the numpad there. But it doesn't have the modifier key, so I don't have to reach and stretch for enter or anything like that. So I think this is actually really fit into my workflow really, really well. I think it's a good looking board. It's a great design. The inspiration's really fun. Clarabelle, naming it after a cow and doing the whole cow again. It's really unusual and really fun. And why the hell not to have something a little bit different?
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that the Royal's kind of known for too. He's kind of quirky with the stuff he puts out, and it's fun. It has a lot of personality, and I think that this is a board that even given my limited 40%-esque experience, this is a board that even I could probably use. And it does look nice, and I like the theme. It's just like it's whimsical almost, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean it's almost not a 40%. It's almost it's not.
It's like it's a reworked 60. Right? It's a reworked 60, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah.
Get into it, but like.
Yeah, you could go that way.
This is why percentages are silly.
Yeah, it is why percentages are silly, and it makes it really difficult to discuss something. But I think it works really well. It supports ISO, it supports ANSI. You can have either one or two keys on the numpad for the 0, so you can either have the 2U0 key, or you can have 2 1U keys, which is where I put my FN key, as I mentioned before. I just think it's a really clever design, and it's actually going to be really workable for many, many people in real life, I think. Yeah.
The Royal is in chat, and he's saying it's a 40. 4 rows equals 40%.
I'm not sure that's how it works, dude, but
I mean, but that's the reason why it's like not good, is because people have different perspectives on how the percentage system works. It's like it's not consistent across people.
It's a non-standard 60, I would say. Like the Rain, which was a 40% 1800 inspired board as well. That was technically a non-standard 65% when you counted the keys and worked it out. But that made no sense to market it as such because it was very much a numpad and a 40% board. So I think this is very, very similar. It's flipped the other way around. It's a little bit smaller in terms of footprint, but yeah, I think this looks really good. I think this will really work for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. I can see this going pretty well. So here are your layout options, and it's pretty decent for the actual footprint, if you ask me. Like Jay mentioned, you do have the ISO option there. You got split spacebar. You can split the left shift. You can do the full 2U0 or do the 1Us. on the numpad. So it seems like you have a fair amount of functionality here for the layout. I also kind of dig the RGB caps lock indicator. I don't know why, but it's kind of random and fun to just throw that on there.
Yeah, why not? Why not do something a little bit different? Why does everything have to follow the same kind of philosophy? Let's do something a little bit different, a little bit more fun.
Exactly.
And the Royal kind of done exactly that with this.
Yeah. Also, one thing I thought was kind of interesting is on the prototypes, it looks like the badge sticks out quite a bit, but in some of the other renders, it looks like it sinks into the case a bit more. So I wonder what that's actually going to end up like. Like here, it's like in the case, right?
Magnets, I think so.
Well, yeah.
It could be fitments or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I prefer it a little bit proud. I think I like it where it stands a little bit proud of the case. I think it looks.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, he says it extends in the chat. Okay, so there you go. So it won't look, inserted all the way.
It's kind of raised. It's kind of raised in some of the renders.
In some of the renders,
there are some renders where it's flush, yeah, but it's kind of raised in some of them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, nice looking board. Looking forward to that one. All right, let's go ahead and move on to something else that I think we're both a little excited for as well. The Argyle. So this is the interest check for the Argyle by Socialite, and this is quite an interesting piece as well. We're seeing people get a lot more creative these days, I feel like. So just let me run off a few specs for you here. Aluminum housing, of course, 8-degree typing angle. PCB will support QMK and Type-C. Colors will be black, white, and potentially more still to be decided. It's going to have a couple top varieties for you. Standard, possibly win keyless, possibly HHKB, depending on how the interest check goes, of course. Plates are looking like aluminum is going to be the default, but potentially other options, again, depending on the interest check goes. It is going to be top mount, and you are going to have these windows to show your through-hole components. And I don't know if they've decided on either glass or acrylic, or if they're going to be offering both.
It's going to be well, yeah. So for those that you don't know, this was actually, I'll try not to talk too much about this because this one came through the prototype service with Socialite coming to my team to come up with the design. So he came with the idea, we came up with the case design, everything else, and the PCB design and stuff like that. So we're in the process of testing the prototype, and we will test both glass and acrylic.
Okay, so the material hasn't been settled on yet for that.
No, we're going to have prototypes of both, and then Socialite will decide off what he prefers when he gets the prototypes in.
Awesome. Seems pretty cool. So, I mean, as far as the design is concerned, I think this is kind of cool, right? Because we've seen a lot of kind of budget kits in the past. A lot of things like the what are they called? Like the gingham, the plaid, the Romac, there's so many of them these days because people just keep making them. But the idea is, you get a good look at your through-hole components. You have a little window to see them through, and it's kind of it's just kind of this extra fun thing to go along with your keyboard, I guess, to kind of see some of the componentry. Makes it feel a little bit more raw,
It does. Visionaire says, can we get a way to light up the windows on both sides? There are LEDs that are actually underneath the blockers, so the two blockers that come down before the windows, there are LEDs underneath there that will point outwards. That Yank has found some LEDs that do fit at a right angle into the PCB, so they will light up.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, it's almost like a little cabinet at that point. Then you can kind of show off your.
Yeah, they will be, and they'll be completely blocked. So the light shouldn't have much bleed into the main 60% portion of the case, but it will be there to highlight the ICs, to diodes, all of the other components.
Yeah, well, it's looking pretty awesome. Do we know anything about what the other colors are going to be besides the black and white?
To be determined. So we're testing colours and we're having a look at stuff, and we're seeing what comes back from what people request. We have got a prototype that should be with us shortly, the colours all depend on what other people want to do.
All right, cool. So it still seems like a lot of details need to be ironed out, but hopefully in the very near future we'll have a little bit more info about what's going on with this. But it looks like the prototype is slated for the end of June, so that's not too far away.
It should be with me by the end of this month, but just because of COVID shipping times, it might be towards the back end of June before it gets to Socialite, and it gives us a little bit of time to make some decisions on the glass, whether it's glass or acrylic. It gives him some time to check it out and make sure everything's to his specifications. So yeah.
Awesome. Shout out to Rick Clack for the 500 bits. Appreciate that, my friend, as well as Coinstorm for the host. Appreciate that, my guys.
Nice, thanks guys. Thank you.
Yeah, let's take a look at the supported layouts here. This is pretty standard 60% stuff, but it's all pretty popular stuff as well. So you have all the usual suspects on the 60% stepped and unstepped caps. Whether you want to split your shifts, your backspace, you have ISO, you have 7U bottom row options, as well as the 6.25 bottom row options. So that's about the most you can ask for layout support, I would say, on a 60% without getting into some more exotic things. And pricing and MOQ is still to be determined as well. So still a lot of things to iron out here, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to something that is also pretty interesting as well. This is the Flex Apogee, I think is how this is pronounced, by Flexerman.
Yeah, the Apogee, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, fantastic. And
so,
this is a kind of a wild board. Why don't you tell us about it, Jay?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was going to say, you might remember Flex from the Virgo. He did the Flex Virgo that running group by. That was kind of the EM7-inspired TKL, which is doing really well in group by at the minute. And he's also working with me on the Lodestone as well. So this is a board that he designed for his wife. His wife was getting interested in all of these keyboard things that he was doing. And, yeah, she asked for something that would fit her. And that's where the whole Southpaw idea came from. So, yeah. It will be an aluminium case. It's going to have a QMK-compatible PCB, which will be designed by Flex himself as well. It's going to go for a standard kind of mounting system, which will be just top mount, but you can do a burger plate mount if you want to do as well. Or alternatively, you'll be able to use a gasket PCB mount, so it'll be no plate, but it'll be where the PCB rests. So very similar to a board that you tried quite recently, the IDB60, Brian. It'll be similar to that. The seamless top housing over bottom housing design, so it's kind of like that seamless side profile, so the top fits over the bottom, and it's got a kind of unique look on the side as well, which we'll talk about in a second as well. 7-degree typing angle, aluminium plate as standard, and a standardized USB-C daughter board using the open source one there as well. In terms of the layouts, there will be a couple of different layout options. So you'll be able to have that Southpaw numpad. You'll be able to have it mirrored or standard, depending. It'll still be on the left-hand side, but you'll be able to have it both ways around. And it'll also support ANSI, ISO, split backspace, step caps lock. You'll have a number of different options for the bottom row as well. So you'll be able to have a 6.25U space or a 7U space as well, depending on what kind of layout you'd like to use. So yeah, lots of different options and opportunities within there. What do you think to the looks of this one, Brian? Are you a fan?
I don't know, honestly. I like a lot of the design language on it, but I don't know if I like all of it. It's a very interesting looking board, and I usually am very appreciative of like left-handed numpads and stuff, just being left-handed and appreciating mouse space as well when I use my mouse with my right hand. Like, for example, this picture here looks so stunning. This side angle from this shot is so sexy. But
yeah, right?
From the top down, I don't find it quite as attractive from the top down. I really appreciate the sides. I like the layout. I think it's pretty awesome, and I like a lot of the specs. But yeah, from the top down, the Apogee I just don't think is for me. But it's a really cool product, and I'm curious to see it evolve a little bit and kind of see what choices he makes up in the group buy.
Yeah, I really do like the finger slots underneath there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really, really nice. I'm always a big fan of being able to pick a board up and having finger slots. Those are really nicely shaped, and yeah, I'm excited to see how this comes out.
Yeah, so this board kind of has the weird mounting system going on, which you were kind of talking about as well, like where it kind of has the PCB mount thing going on, like you mentioned the IDB60, but you can also mount it like a burger mount kind of thing as well. Like you can use a plate here, I think, as well, similar to the 7V, maybe.
Yeah. So you can either do the bottom PCB mount, which will be gasketized, and it'll be just a PCB mount, which offer an interesting typing experience. Or, as I say, you can have it as top mount or burger top mount, depending on which you prefer of those two styles. I know that I really liked burger mount in my the 60% from Upas, the Brutal 60. That's what it's called. I really like the burger mount on the Brutal. It feels really, really good. So it's interesting to see how that will be on here. And it's one of those boards where you could get like a couple of PCBs and plates and just try out two different builds and swap them out. If you want a tactile one with a plate and a linear one on the PCB, you can absolutely do that as well. It's interesting.
Yeah, surely. Quick shout outs to a few people that have just donated. The Royal donated $23.46. So thank you so much for that, man. Coinstorm donated $2. Thank you so much for that. Iwanae donating another $100 with a heart. Man, you guys are too kind, man. Too kind. Thank you very much, guys.
Nice, thanks, guys. We're $530, so we're a quarter of the way to that. So more than halfway to that $4,000 target now. So $2,500. We've only got $1,500 to go. We can do that in this stream. I'm sure we can get there, guys. You guys can make that happen.
It can be done.
It can be done.
That's right. All right. So, is this something you'd think about picking up, Jay?
Yeah, I'm interested to see it. I mean, I know Flex. I didn't know about this board until the IC went live. He didn't share it with me until then. So, but I'm really interested to try it. I'm hoping that when he gets the prototype in, I'll get to take a look at it because it's again it's something where the numpad might be something that I can make usable for me. So definitely interested to try out.
Yeah, pretty decent layout options as well.
Yeah, it covers a lot of stuff.
Definitely.
And as I say, there will be two. What isn't shown on here is there'll be two versions of numpad, so you'll be able to have the mirrored numpad or the standard numpad.
Yeah, kind of like it was.
Both still on the left-hand side. Yeah.
Like on the Southpaw full size. You have the
exactly,
mirrored option. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like that. That's nice. All right, cool. So look forward to that, guys. Let's move on to something that. Well, I guess it isn't in group buy anymore. It was in group buy, but it's sold out really quickly, I think. So, but we'll still touch on it for a moment. But yeah, I don't think this is actually available anymore. But this is the group buy for the Infinitum. I don't know.
Infinitum.
Yeah,
Infinitum.
Infinitum.
That's how we say it in the
Okay.
UK.
Infinitum. Okay, so this is of course by Enigma. And this is a pretty nice custom TKL, and this was limited to only 60 units, and I think it sold out in like 3 minutes. Or something like that. I forgot what someone told me how fast it was, but it apparently sold out.
I was speaking to Enigma. That was exactly how it was. It sold out in 3 minutes for the 60 units.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy, man. People are all about this stuff these days. But so it is an aluminum housing, aluminum plate, mirror finished stainless steel weight, which I think is pretty nice. A muted blue, which is the only color available. But man, is that a nice blue! And of course, it is top mount, and which it's top mounted with these tabs as well, which I think is kind of cool too. You almost get a little flex, little extra flexing material there, just because of the way it's designed. But the starting price was $635 as well, so definitely not a cheap keyboard. I'm surprised it sold out so fast. 60 units, 3 minutes at that price. A lot of people must really like this.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting it to do well, maybe not that quickly. I was going to try and grab one of these because I really like the colour of the board and I wanted to try it out. And I had my alarm set and I was in the workshop and the alarm went off, so I turned the alarm off and I went and washed my hands and then I went to the computer. By the time I got to the computer, gone.
Mr. Petrov. Oh my gosh. Never change.
$300. I'm not going to read out his quote, but $300. Nope. Thank you very much.
can't read out the quote, but that's Petrov. Thank you so much, man. That is enormous.
Petrov taking the top donator spot there from Air and supplanting himself. Someone can beat Petrov, though. I'm sure someone can beat Petrov with.
Iwane has donated. Oh, okay. It's okay. I see. Because Iwane has actually donated.
Yeah.
I think Iwane has actually donated twice. Oh wait, is Mr. Petrov donated twice? Oh no, I see. Okay. I think I see how this works now. Okay. I'm starting to understand this a bit more. Yeah. Mr. Petrov and Iwane. Man, they're really putting in the work, that's for sure. Alright.
For sure.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that, guys. That's enormous for the charity, guys. Absolutely enormous. So yeah, did you try to get one of these, Jay? Did you even attempt to?
Yeah. As I say, I had my alarm set for like a minute before the auction. I was in the workshop, so I was kind of covered in a bit of grime and dirt and stuff. So I went and washed my hands, went to the computer. By the time I got there, it had gone. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's just sometimes that's just how it is. You got to be on the ball with so many of these super limited group buys lately. It can be kind of difficult to actually get in on them, but seemed to go over pretty darn well for him, so that's really good. Very
Cheers,
nice.
I hope you learned your lesson. Need a dirty keyboard to do any sport. So when I finish setting stuff up, I will have a keyboard that can get dirty.
You need like a warehouse board, like a garage board. Or whatever,
Yeah. I do have one, but it's in my garage. It's not in the warehouse. So yeah, but it will be eventually when everything's moved over. So yeah.
Nice, awesome. All right, well that is the Infinitum, guys, and unfortunately you can't get it anymore. So shout out to the
Yeah,
60 of you
extra
that
expensive.
were within the 3-minute order window. Let's go ahead and move on to something that is still available and is still in group buy. And this is the group buy for the K by Beaming Robots and Bisaromi. And this is something that a lot of people have been pretty hyped for. This is the kind of MX custom interpretation of the HHKB HG edition, I believe is what it's called, which is that super high-end HHKB that I feel like a lot of people don't even actually know about. But
I've never seen one in real life.
I've never seen one
pictures of
either,
them,
but I've seen
found it
pictures.
cool, but I don't know anyone who actually owns one, or anyone who can tell me someone who's owned one. So I don't know if they actually exist or if it's just the pictures that we've seen of them.
Oh man, if anyone in chat owns an HHKB HG edition, let us know. We're curious.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about this board for a second, because this is a pretty interesting one that a lot of people I think are gonna like as well. So this one is going to be a standard or HHKB top. You're going to have a high-need PCB with USB-C, very nice. Aluminum or polycarbonate plates are going to be your option. And the base kit starts at 420-ish USD, I believe is when I did the conversions earlier. It's about 570, 580 Singapore dollar. So yeah. Converts to around $420-ish for a base kit in the US, and then there is also a extra kind of special stainless steel bottom, I believe, edition that's going to run you a little bit more. That's going to be about 1,200 Singapore dollars, which I think is around $850 if I did my conversions right earlier. So definitely two vastly different levels of this, but it's a pretty interesting board. It does use a gasket mount that is akin to the 356 Mini, that kind of that O-ring gasket that goes around the PCB plate assembly that we've seen also on the gasket 00 to a lot of success. So
I think Gen CE as well.
Gen CE, yeah. So all those boards are pretty darn successful, and I would imagine that this one is going to be no exception. I think this looks fantastic. I think it's probably going to type fantastic, and I think a lot of people are going to be into it. It's unlimited too, so if you order one, you get one. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think this will do quite well. I mean, the styling is very similar to the HHKB, as we've said. It's very reminiscent of the number 2 as well, which I think it actually uses the same feet. If I remember rightly, reading earlier on today, it uses the same feet as number 2. So Keycap have allowed them to use the same feet, which is kind of cool. That polished base, though, man, that's something special, right? That's pretty cool.
That's going to be the expensive base, I would imagine. It's more akin to like the Keycap number 2 with that stainless bottom as well. So yeah, if you want that stainless steel bottom, which does look gorgeous, you better be expecting to shell out quite a few dollary dues. Thank you very much, Cozy Fenna2D, for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Are you going to pick one of these up, Brian? Is this for you, or is this not for you?
I really like it, honestly, but I think I'm going to pass on it. Just so I can hopefully afford the Heine TKL when it comes. I think that's what I'm going to be saving my my dollars for the near future. That and the tinned, like those are my two upcoming high anticipated boards. So unfortunately, I got to pass on this, but I got to respect it for what it is. I do think it looks pretty nice, and I like the way it came out. And I think a lot of people are going to be pretty happy with this, to be totally honest.
Yeah, I think it looks fine. One of the interesting things was, and a couple of people mentioned this in chat, I too wasn't particularly enthralled with the sound tests of this. It didn't sound amazing, but that could have just been the build, or it could have been the studio setup or anything else. So I wouldn't read too much into those sound tests, because, your mileage may vary. It could be completely different if you took that exact board and put it in your room. It all depends on the microphone setup and everything else. So whilst I didn't think they sounded particularly good, that has no relevance on how the board would sound if you build it yourself.
Yeah, you can't watch a typing test and expect the product to sound exactly like that in your hands. It's so unrealistic. So unrealistic. But I rant about typing tests way too often as it is, so let's go ahead and keep this on topic, as we do still have quite a ways to go on our news doc. So let's go ahead and move on over to, I think, what is the last board on our news doc today?
Yeah.
Which is the interest check for the CB87 SAKABATO. And SAKABATO, I believe, is a reverse blade sword, a reverse blade katana, which he does talk a little bit about there. I wasn't sure if this was like a riff on Rurouni Kenshin at first, who kind of an icon character that popularized reverse blade swords. If you're kind of a weeb like me, I guess.
Very nice.
But I don't know what the actual inspiration is aside from that. But it does look to be a kind of an interesting board. So 7.5 degree angle, aluminum housing, aluminum plate. There's going to be weight and badge options of aluminum, brass, and copper, depending on the version that you go with. And it is expected to run this month. It is top mount, and it is supposed to be launching at a base price of $365. But there's also going to be a Founders Edition starting at $495. So what do you think about this one, Jay?
I mean, it's interesting. There's a couple of things that jump out to me really, really quickly off the bat. I think, firstly, it's interesting that the prototype is done in raw machining and there's no anodization or anything else. So there's no examples of what that's going to look like. There are some parts of the machining as well that look really rough, and there's some parts it doesn't look like it's been finished. Normally, after you take parts out of the machine, you kind of sandblast them down, get rid of some marks and stuff, make sure everything's nice and smooth. It doesn't look like that post-processing's either been done or it's not been completed yet. So I'd like to see pictures of it when that's finished and maybe see what an anodized board looks like. I think in terms of the actual board itself, there's a couple of problems or a couple of things that I see that might be problems. All of the parts are metal, including the plate, and this apparently supports Bluetooth. So for those of you who don't know, if you put Bluetooth inside, a pretty much metal enclosure, it turns into a Faraday cage. There's got to be some way of letting the signal out. That doesn't appear to be so in this particular board. Now they do say they're going to address that and take a look at it, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. The plate also looks a little bit strange in some positions, like the universal enter cutout doesn't look like it extends far enough. I don't know if that's just the angle of the photo or what, but it doesn't look quite right. So I'll be interested to see if it needs some tweaks or adjustments from that perspective as well.
Yeah, but I mean, that's prototyping, right? I mean, hopefully he got the prototyping in, he tested everything, and he found all the things that are wrong with it and can make the corrections. But I gotta agree with you, the prototype here does look really rough, but I guess sometimes it just is like that when you're prototyping.
I mean, most of it looks fine. I mean, like the mill lines and everything else that happened, and they'd normally be polished away and stuff like that. But I think the post processing hasn't been finished on this board because some of the edges, the actual machined edges that should be nice and smooth to touch, they've kind of got ridges and bumps on them. It just feels like that post processing hasn't been completed on this particular model yet, or if it has, it's been done in certain areas and it's not been completely finished yet.
Yeah. On the plus side, he does have some very delicious looking pastries alongside the prototype, which Royal pointed out in chat.
Nice, sure. Great.
What, you don't like pastries, Jay? Come on.
I do, but I don't want those pastries, because if I buy one of these boards, that pastry is going to be 4 months old by the time it gets to me, right?
Well, I'm not saying you have to buy that pastry. My gosh, Jay. Sheesh. All right, yeah. So, so a lot of information is still to be decided, I think, going on here. But we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully, once they actually launch the group buy, we'll have all the information because it's a little up in the air right now. But we'll see what happens. There's potential there.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that the group buy opens this month, and I know the thread's been open for about 10 days now, and they've literally just got a prototype, which is why we didn't talk about it before. But I can't see them being able to turn around a group buy that quickly. It might be better for them to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's definitely a little questionable. Skewed, thank you so much for the tier 2 sub, man. Very, very, very much appreciate that. And let's move on to some key sets, shall we?
Nice.
We should try to lightning around some of this because there's a lot of key sets this week, man. In fact, there are a lot that I didn't even add. There were just so many key sets this week, man. Oh my freaking god. Anyways, starting us off this week is going to be the interest check for Infinikey 808 Boom. 808 Boom. And this theme is a little lost on me, but I definitely respect it. And I feel like if you're into this sort of thing, you should definitely read the backstory in this thread. But the set is kind of themed around the Roland TR-808 Rhythm Composer, which is kind of a drum machine that was manufactured in the early 80s. And
it's a beautiful bit of kit as well. Yeah. I'm going to post a link to the picture of it in chat because the original bit of kit, the Roland bit of kit, was really, really cool.
Yeah, so this is kind of cool. I'm not, super into the music scene, so like I said, a lot of this is lost on me. But man, this is so thematic. It's like nuts, and I feel like this is one of those sets that may not be for everyone, just because the base kit is a little polarizing. But I feel like the people that are like really into this kind of niche are going to really, really appreciate this kind of set. So I honestly believe that they did a super good job of designing it. This is Langlandia, by the way, as well as CYO Caps and that Cliff. So three great minds come together on this one. And even though it's not really for me, I really do think that they hit a home run here with the theme.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this looks great. I mean, this just screams my childhood. Like, I think Melodet mentioned that the Roland played a massive part in the emergence of hip hop, and using those repeated beats and drum beats and stuff like that. And it was like a huge thing in lots of underground music scenes and things in the 80s and 90s and stuff. So it plays a huge part. Like, I remember playing with these machines back in school, and having a whale of a time on them, and they're just kind of. There's a lot of nostalgia for this kind of thing. So it's something that some people might not get, but a lot of people will really, really relate to. There'll be a certain demographic of person out there that you just see this and think, that's my childhood in a nutshell. And yeah, I'm one of those people. This really, really speaks to me on that kind of base level, if you get the joke.
Yeah, definitely. So let's take a look at the base kit for compatibility here too, because it actually looks pretty decent as well. You have the numpad, you have basic ISO there. And you have about as many novelties and text novelties as you could possibly ask for, as well as quite a few space bars. So this is a pretty large base kit, all things considered. However, there still is a couple supplementary kits. So they have the trap kit, which is kind of I don't know, your extra extension support kit, I guess you'd call it. There's the symbols kit. Is that what that's
symbols?
Supposed to be? Which is kind of
symbols,
yeah, which is kind of some colored novelties, as well as a Beat It spacebar novelty. That's pretty good. And then I know we don't usually touch on desk mats just because every set seems to have a bazillion of them, but this desk mat is pretty fantastic as well if you're really trying to fit the entire theme,
Yeah, absolutely. That desk mat is really cool, and I'm not ashamed to say it, but I was talking to both Langlandia and CYO Caps the other day, and they sent me the files, so I've got it as my wallpaper on both my monitors right now, because I just love that image. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. So I imagine this is absolutely a must-buy for you then.
Oh, this is right up my street. This is a buy for me, irrespective of anything else. It wouldn't matter what profile this ran in or anything else. I would instantly want to cop this because it just speaks to me on another level. It kind of just brings back all of those childhood memories playing with that machine and learning about music, and that kind of whole era of music. If you haven't been following Langlandia's Instagram for the past few days, he's kind of had like a playlist of songs leading up to this, and it's just taken me on that journey. It's been a really nice experience, just like that couple of minutes each day just checking out his songs that he's linked to and stuff. Yeah, it's been really interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, so another thing that's super awesome about this set is 100% of the designer profit will be going to the Children's Music Fund, and it sounds like TKC is going to be matching some of that as well. So a lot of charity going on here. That's cool. We love seeing that. Definitely love seeing that. So there's your vendor list for this one, guys. It's going to be running on the Key Company as well as Prototypist, which is why Jay isn't saying a whole lot about that. And then it's running pretty much everywhere else as well. So most sets have so many proxies these days. It's kind of cool to see.
It is, yeah. The one thing I would say as well is that if you really look at the kits, there's been a lot of thought that's gone into these kits as to how it'll work on things like Alice boards to make sure that you carry on with that gradient across the bottom that mirrors the machine and things like that. There's a real lot of thought of detail gone into the kits and how the keys are structured to make coverage the best it can be as well. So yeah, and fair play to whoever did these renders, because the key set renders actually looks like PBT material. They've done a really good job texturizing those, especially on that trap kit. If you look at the trap kit, you can see that kind of traditional PBT texture. That's what
it's kind
PBT
of
looks
fuzzy,
like.
kind of grainy almost.
Yeah, it's really, really well done. Yeah. So Nathan Afferman. Well, yeah, there you go, Nathan Afferman. That explains why it's on the Evolve.
Nice, absolutely. It's also on the JO2. Does it feel good seeing that set on your board?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it does. It does. I think they only did that to kind of sweet talk me a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really good on that too, as well. It works really well on 60% layout.
Yeah. Yeah, I can just imagine it on this. This is the production version. Yeah, I can just imagine it on there. Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's coming soon, guys. So look forward to that, because that'll be going to a good cause as well. Orange Josh, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub, my friend. He also says, nice.
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 Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Let's move over to another interest check here that could potentially make some people happy or maybe confuse others. This is the interest check for GMK Red and Blue Samurai by Red Sons, who is the original designer of Red Samurai. So, you know, Red Samurai is sort of a weird set in this hobby, I feel like, because, you know, one might argue that it was, without a doubt, the second most popular key set in the hobby for quite a few months, you know, kind of only...
Huge,
only kind of being, you know, undersold by Olivia, more or less, always being the most popular colorway. But I think it was Mech Madness 2. This was like the second or third place key set, I believe. And it was, before then, it was super popular when it first ran. And I feel like it's kind of just fell off the face of the earth since then.
Yeah, so I think what happened with that is I had the original group buy, and the group buy did okay. It didn't sell huge numbers, but it sold quite well. And then everyone got the sets, and everyone really liked it. So the price was jumping up and up and up on Mech Market. And then Drop introduced those kind of like really limited versions of the base kits and had it in stock. And you couldn't fit out certain keyboards. You could never get it on a 40. You could never get it on anything for ISO. You could never get it on, you know, anything that wasn't a TKL or a 60%. You know, there was just no compatibility outside of a few very specific layouts. I think 1800 was one, or depending on what 1800 board you had. So it's really nice to see this come back and kind of make some changes to the original kits and do things a little bit differently, and maybe have two separate colorways as well, because that's a thing now.
Yeah. So it looks like they're trying a couple different things here. So they have a lot of the standard sets that are kind of laid out just what from you'd expect. I think some of these novelties are new, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I can't remember what the novelties were originally off the top of my head. I know some of them were like the cloud and the sword and stuff like that. And
some of them are the same. I think there's some new ones.
I think some of the ninja stuff is new. I don't recall the kunai or the shuriken. Or the Kama sickle being in there originally, but I
think they were there.
Yeah,
let me see.
I could be wrong. I should have opened up the original link so I could have compared the two. This was my fault, guys.
Okay. So I have some of the original novelties. I think that makes a return.
That's
that makes a return. The
swords, yeah.
Which ones? There is that one, which does.
There is shuriken. Well. Okay.
Yeah. There's this one. I don't know what that is.
That's
it's
the helmet. It's like the helmet, yeah.
That's still there, yeah. There's the sickle.
Okay, so they did have all this. Okay, did they have the? There's technically like 4 different shuriken as well as the fan.
Yeah. So here we go. There you go. That's that one as well.
Okay, maybe they are all the same. All right.
I'm struggling to find the rest of the examples. There is. Oh, there you go. That's the other one. There you go.
Okay, so that's all of them then, right? Basically.
Yeah, they're all there.
The fan. Okay, yeah. So I guess for people that were looking for more of a rerun of the original one, this is going to be relatively close, but definitely some changes.
I think there's some that. Oh no! I was going to say I think there's some that are in this set that I have here that aren't in there, but no, there's not. They're all. It's all the same. Yeah, all the same.
All right, well, there you go. I guess the big kind of defining characteristic of this run, which is going to be on drop again, by the way, so we'll look for it there, but they're going to be running a blue version, so GMK Blue Samurai to go alongside your Red Samurai. How do you feel about that?
I'll be honest, I really like Red Samurai. I have 2 sets of it. I've got all of the keycaps from the first round that you could get, all of the different kits. I do not like the blue version. I don't know if it's the blue. I don't think the blue works well with the gold, particularly in my vision, in my head, and I can't kind of see how that would work in plastic keycaps in a good way. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah,
it seems a lot of people in chat are totally big on the blue version. What do you guys do? You guys think the blue version is better than the red version? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to see, because I would have assumed that the red would have actually been more popular. I much prefer the red as well. I'm with you, Jay, but
Ron DG says he likes the blue. Melodit says yes.
yeah.
Jeff says no.
US Pokemon says that's fire. Disco Crocodile and Neurowinter both simultaneously said I kind of like the blue.
Yeah, Null and Void says red is better. Yeah.
Keiki says blue is goat. Maybe it is split. That's interesting. I wasn't really expecting the blue version to be as popular as this. Pluto says he doesn't like either. All right. Royal says
but you can't please Pluto, right? That just doesn't happen. You can't please Pluto.
Royal says blue is always better. I think there are probably more blue sets than any other color set, if I had to guess.
Can Brian even see the difference?
That's rough, but well deserved. I'm okay with being made fun of for my color blindness. That's all right. I'm used to it. But I can see the difference between the red and the blue, and I do prefer the red. I've always liked the set, even when it's kind of started to fade out of fashion. I still really appreciated it. But sadly, I've never owned this set, so this could be a good opportunity for me to actually finally get a set of it.
So, some people are saying, what about a green version? And then I was going to talk about this, and I was going to say, I think if you had GMK Hero, but Upath and Nebula beat me to the punchline on that one. But thanks guys. But yeah, you could potentially do a green version. But is this the future of key sets? Having an idea for a key set and then doing a different color of it? So are we going to see like a green Taro next?
Maybe. I mean, that's kind of the thing with key set design, right? Like, the sky's the limit. And, like, nobody really has, like, perfected the formula on what, like, is 100% successful on designing and running key sets yet, because it is still rather new in our community, like, despite what people want to say or think. So, I don't know. I think it's certainly an option, and we've seen it work really successfully. I mean, I don't want to use Olivia Plus Plus as an example, but obviously that did super well, but it did really well because Olivia. I don't know how this one's going to do, but, you know, we've been seeing a lot of the dual base kit runs lately, and honestly, a lot of them have been doing pretty well. So I think people just in the community right now just seem to have the money to spare, and they're totally okay with buying stuff like this. And that's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I guess so. Just in terms of coverage, because we haven't really talked about it, but you can cover pretty much everything. You know, there is no lack of coverage support in that base kit.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of those 1U keys there that you can use for all sorts of different things as well. I haven't really gone through it, but there's even the Alice B included in the base kit. There's even split space bars. There's ISO support, although it does it with the two pipe / keys, which I'm not a fan of, but there's a ton of compatibility in there. I'm pretty sure the original version had UK ISO support. I'm sure I've got UK ISO in the version I've got.
Is there an F13 key in here that we're missing, Jay?
Oh yeah, we need to double check.
I don't want to make that mistake again.
Now I'm going to say there isn't, but I can't see one. But okay, I'm going to caveat with I don't think there is one. So if there is one, I haven't made a mistake.
Yeah, we messed up last week on the classic blue group by saying there wasn't an F13 key in there, but there in fact is. So we apologize for that. That's just how it goes sometimes. We don't always see everything clearly. We don't always know everything, and this is a live show. So between those things, there's always going to be scuff. That's just kind of the way it is. So we apologize for that. We try to be right all the time, but sadly, we just can't always be right. But back to the set as it is going to be, like you mentioned, there's tons of compatibility in the base kit. That is, you know, about as good as a base kit gets. I think most people would argue. I
think it goes above and beyond. I think there's too much in there. If I would argue for a base kit, I think it goes way past what we need to expect from a base kit. But
sure,
yeah,
that's fair as well. But you know, that aside, there are other kits too. So they are bringing back the Nishi kit if you're a fan of the Japanese sub legends there. There's also a pure Hiragana kit once again. I believe it was Hiragana last time as well, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, we already kind of went through the novelties kit. You get lots of novelties. Looks like a lot of them are pretty much the same. And, of course, to round things out, there is going to be a spacebar kit, you know, for some of your less used sizes there. So,
is the pure Hiragana kit new? I don't remember that being last time. I think there was only the Nishi kit and the base kit, I think, last time.
Twitch chat will correct us, I'm sure. They always know. So, Was there a pure hiragana kit last time, guys? I'm pretty sure there was, but I guess I certainly could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong.
Yeah, I know I've got a lot of keys for it, but
Captain Schwa says,
I know I have
Captain Schwa says
Okay.
he has it, so I guess it did run. So cool, good to know that. Very, very nice, guys. So
Thank
yeah,
you for
that's thank you for confirming, and that's going to be on drop, guys. I don't think we have a date, or at least I don't think I noted one down earlier. But I imagine if the interest check is going up now and it's going to be running on drop, it's probably going to be pretty soon. They don't usually delay things quite that long as far as group buys are concerned. So there you go, guys. If you're looking for another run of Red Samurai, there you go. If you didn't know you wanted Blue Samurai, but now you do, there you go. And it's going to be on drop. Let's go ahead and move on to our next interest check, which I actually am a fairly big fan of. This is the interest check for GMK Dandy, which is by Sour. And this is his newest set. So coming off of, what were his last couple sets? He did Wasabi, he did Pono, which I don't think is ran yet. And then, what was the other one that he did recently? I do like Pono a lot, though, to be totally honest. And Dandy, I like Dandy a lot too. I think Sour has a really interesting approach when it comes to key set design. I think that him and who's the other one? I like McNoss has a similar kind of theory. I feel where he tries to make, they both try to make things that are like really kind of simple and subdued, but still try to give you like a good splash of color without going like anywhere close to over the top. So because of that, you get a lot of you get a lot of classy monochrome designs with like, you know, vividly colored accents that are still really nice, and I think work really well with the set. I liked it a lot on Pono. I like it a lot here too. So this feels kind of similar. This is a dandelion themed set, so I'll get a little foliage, little foliage for you guys there. But yeah, how do you feel about the colors here?
Everyone knows I like a green set, and you know it's genuinely a lovely looking set. Like the green is really nice and subdued. It's stock color, so it's easy to do. It's easy to kind of visualize. It's just, as you said, it's really simple, really nice. It's really clean. Yeah, it's just genuinely lovely. Genuinely lovely.
Like, what more could you ask for out of that? And what I really like is I'm trying to. This is a really long thread, so I'm trying to actually scroll down to the kitting here. If I didn't actually pass it already. But what I really like in this set, apparently I did. What the heck? Is there no kitting laid out here? Am I silly?
Yeah, it's under a more button, so you just need to expand
okay.
that. So if you go down to the board renders just above the desk mats, it's...
My apologies, guys. I'm being dumb again. Okay, so what I really like is in the accents of the novelties kit, these novelties are super simple, and what I really like that he does in some of these renders is he shows it as like using it as like the win keys, and I actually think it makes a fantastic win key replacement, because like it's the icon is small and simple enough to where like, you know, it is a novelty, but like it kind of feels like it's just part of the rest of the set, like normally too. Like it actually looks like it belongs there. It looks like it should be a win key, a GUI key there.
It's kind of half reminiscent. The reason for that is because it's half reminiscent of that old Windows logo, where it was kind of like the four boxes kind of on a flag on a kind of tilt. It's kind of reminiscent of that. So at like a quick glance, your eye just sees that, and it's something that so many people are used to seeing on kind of you know, OEM keyboards, that Windows key. That yeah, it just really works. There's a really good render of the Nirvana by Walker, where he's got the green version of that key on the bottom row, and it just looks really, really nice. It looks genuinely good.
Yeah. There's a lot of renders in this thread, which is always good to see. It does make it hard to scroll through them quickly, though. But definitely appreciate the renders. Let's take a look at the kit compatibility, though, because base kit is actually kind of interesting. It's a little cut down. You're not going to get the numpad. You're gonna miss out on some other compatibility there, I think. But it does have a fair amount for what it does offer, including quite a few accents. So you do get some basic ISO support here, especially with the what is this this key called that's next to the short shift on the row 4 towards the
terminal style chevrons.
Chevrons, that's right. I always forget those. That's a key you don't see very often in base kits.
To be honest, it's in quite a few sets. I mean, there's,
Oh, really?
there's a couple of different ways you can do basic ISO. The key thing is if you're not going to put a specific ISO in there, whether it be US ISO or UK ISO or I don't know, German ISO or whatever else version of you want to put in there, then this is one of the better ways of making sure that you don't have the two keys the same. I still personally prefer to have the row 4 key as pipe backslash and the row 3 key as hash tilde. But you know, this is absolutely this is more of the classic terminal style way of doing it. So if you look back on a lot of old original ISO boards, as we call them, this was kind of there, and depleted Vespene style. Depleted Vespene will be able to talk more about that in chat if anyone's interested. But yeah, it is one of the more acceptable ways to do it.
Awesome, certainly. All right, so how do you feel about the rest of the compatibility of the base kit, though? Are the accents doing it for you?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the yellow accents, but then I'm very much a green fan. Everyone knows that I like green, but yeah, I think it's a nice shade of yellow. I don't think it's a bad shade. I think it works well for the set. It's just not personally for me. But the rest of the compatibility looks good. There's plenty of different options in there. As you mentioned earlier on with the novelties, I think the novelties are really, really, really well done. They're really simple, really clean. You can use them in a lot of different functions. There's enough keys there that you can use them on each row as well.
Exactly, that's so cool.
There's no lack of choice to use these for, and especially with the accent arrows as well. I think it'll look quite nice.
Yeah, this accent kit gives you so much flexibility. It's really kind of interesting. I like it. And of course, you have a pretty nice spacebar kit, which does have the LSB in there. And then there is a numpad kit, of course, since the base kit does eschew that. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of price we're hitting on the base kit here. Without the numpad, I really do expect this to be close to $100, maybe $110, $115 maybe tops.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite simple and it's cut down on keys, but there is a lot of accents in there and more colours. It's one that's going to be interesting to see what the price is.
Yeah. With that said, I really do love the colors of this set, and the base kit works really well for me. It has a lot of the functionality that I'm going to use without a lot of the things that I'm not, and I like the accents and novelties just so much that these two kits just have to be a must-buy for me. I think the set's just too nice for me to pass up, so I'm hoping the price does remain kind of low because of the base kit structure, but it'll be nice to see. Definitely wishing Sour the best on this one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to something I'm a little less confident about, personally. This is the interest check for GMK Gregory. And this is by Camille Lemon? Is that how it is? Okay. In collaboration with Pancake. I spent like 5 minutes trying to pronounce that before the show earlier. You guys would have been laughing at me the whole time. It was pretty awful, and I still failed. Love it. So this is kind of an interesting set. So there's like a desk mat. The desk mat is the inspiration for this set, guys. So this user, I believe, I read the backstory. I swear I did. They bought some desk mats on Taobao, I think it was, or something like that. Yeah, Taobao. And they really like the desk mats, and they just decided that they had to have a key set with the same theme and colorway, and thus GMK Gregory. I think I'm out of the loop on this one. I think there's like some kind of inside joking here that I'm not understanding, but it's a really intense set, and I don't know. This isn't the first time we've seen this, right? We've seen people try to do the didn't someone try to do a Pepe set in GMK?
Yeah.
Not Space Pepe, but like an actual like face on the set, which was kind of silly, but is this cool to people? Do you guys like this? Does this look really good to you guys, or is this kind of a miss for you? I'm kind of curious because I get the creativity, but it feels more like a joke than like a real set.
It feels rubbish, if I'm honest. I really don't like this. I feel like it's a huge meme, and that's fine. Memes are fine. Let's talk about the good things first. Okay, I think the paw keys are really cute. Those novelties that are in the base kit for the paws, they're really cute. The rest of the novelties, they're rubbish. Let's be honest with you. I mean, I don't get the whole Greg thing. The whole having the key set look like this, it feels really childish, and it might work on a child's board. It doesn't feel for me like it's something that people are going to. And a base kit of this size is going to be like $140 plus because you've got the
it's a pretty big base kit.
It's probably going to be $160. Yeah, you know, it's going to be really expensive for something that's a meme. It looks silly. It doesn't really make any sense as to why you'd want it.
Well, I mean, let's take a step back for a second here. I feel like if you're in on whatever the kind of joke is here, because I feel like there is one, this is probably a cool set to you. Like, kind of like Honderbite, right? Because, like, most people don't really like Honderbite, but, like, people still bought it. And, like, this could be the same kind of thing. It just, I get what they're going for. Like, it's creative, but I think it's just too excessive. There's just, the colors are just too wild in the set. To be as consistent as it otherwise should be. But I mean, what else does anyone expect though? When you try to make a face with multiple colors in your GMK set, it's always going to look weird, right? Like, how are you ever going to make that look good?
Yeah, I mean, well, to be honest, it's the same color as Sirica, right? Or very similar. It's not a million miles off that. It's just laid out in a very different way, and I personally, I don't appreciate the way it's laid out. I also really disagree with the idea of using pills on keycaps. I think that's, you know, like GMK Zooted, for example, GMK weren't a fan of doing the whole you know, marijuana theme, the weed theme, whatever you want to call it. I think putting pills on keycaps is a step further even than that. Like, marijuana's pretty harmless, but yeah, putting pills on keycaps.
I don't know who Greg is or where the character stems from, so I have no idea what, like, the actual back theme is on this. I'm more or less judging it as a face on a GMK key set, which, while I get can be fun, playful, and creative, and for some people it might work, I don't think it looks that good. I think just trying to put a face on a key set is tough, and I don't think anyone's successfully done it yet.
I don't see why you'd want to, and I think the other thing as well is that, right, the amount of work that's gone into this for renders and everything else, you know, if this should have been posted on April 1st, and it wasn't, it was posted on May 12th.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Greg's your thing. I've seen a lot of people that seem to be pretty hyped for this set, and I don't know if, like, that's supposed to be a joke, or maybe people are just really excited for it.
Ironically, though, you know,
that's the thing, right? Like, I'm kind of oblivious to a lot of, like, the sub-memery that goes on in the keyboard community, because I just don't care about memes, usually, so, like, I don't follow it. And, I don't know, like, if this is a meme or not, but, I mean, the interest check is, like, honestly not that bad. Like, the interest check's pretty good. It's really well laid out, so it leads me to believe that this is certainly a set that they're going to try making, and I worry that they might not have enough people to actually buy this set, but I don't know. I at this point, I'm really curious to see how many people would buy this set, because when I asked in chat earlier, it looks like a lot of people were really not into this.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but, you know, I mean, someone said this J against drug use. It's like, no, like, if you want to smoke weed and do drugs or whatever else, that's entirely up to you. What I'm saying is GMK didn't like doing marijuana theme. I can't imagine that they would want to put pills on keycaps either, and I'm not sure that taking pills is the kind of the right message you want to send on a keycap set either. Marijuana is a different story. It's kind of socially acceptable, and I think it should be more socially acceptable than alcohol is, but, you know, that's just my thoughts on it. But rather than getting into all of that, I genuinely don't see the interest in why this set would sell. Like, at least Handerbite had some kind of history behind it. It was, you know, if Handerbite hadn't ever been made in the original board, then we wouldn't have GMK as a vendor today in the community, and we wouldn't have custom keycaps. So there's a reason for that to exist. And I don't like Handerbite. I dislike it intently in terms of a colorway, but I really like what it stands for and the history behind why it was a thing. This just feels weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll eat our words. I'm excited to see. Maybe this is just going to sell, like, thousands of base kits and we're just stupid. But I'm looking forward to seeing, because I don't think I'll buy it, but I'm very curious to see how this will sell. Props on the interest check, though, because the interest check is actually super good.
Yeah, they've gone to so much effort to write this out, and you know, fair play to them. You know, on that perspective, you know, they've got loads of good renders, of good quality renders as well. They're not terrible renders. They've clearly thought about kitting. They've clearly thought about what layers want to support. The actual work that's gone into this is really, really good. I think if they've got that kind of talent, they could do an actually good key set.
I like a lot of these Discord like screen quotes that have been capped towards the bottom of the post. That's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, well, I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? I mean, I feel like a lot of these people, like, don't take anything, like, terribly seriously. I'm trying to say that in a nice way. Like, a lot of these people you know, a lot of them are kind of in it for like the memes, and like they're just here to have fun and stuff like that, and like you can't necessarily fault them for that. So, I mean, whatever joke or memery is behind this, I'm sure that the people involved will be more than happy to buy it. But I think the theme is lost on me a little bit, and that's okay because obviously I don't have to understand everything. But yeah, that is GMK Gregory interest check, guys. Let's go ahead and move over to our next GMK interest check. Don't worry, we still have lots more GMK interest checks.
If you're about a GMK, well, we got more for you.
Oh yeah, this has been a big key set week. So next up is the interest check for GMK Colorchrome by I believe he goes by Full everywhere else, but
it's Full. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to be better with usernames. But this was kind of...
call him Ashley because he hates it.
Ashley?
Yeah, he dislikes when I call him Ashley.
There's no H in his name. There's no H after the S, though. Whatever. I see. You're picking on him. I got it. I got you. So, you're so mean. Just kidding. But this is...
I really like it.
Yeah, so this is kind of inspired by GMK Monochrome, which is a set that I think flew under the radar, I think, for a lot of people. It was effectively just a black and white set, but not as we know, white on black and black on white. It was kind of the dark mods with the light alphas kind of approach. Yeah. And I thought it was honestly a really successful set, and it was really nice, but it did kind of fly under the radar. Didn't really sell a ton of units, but, you know, obviously he was inspired here to make this one, Colorchrome here, and it's kind of a similar approach, but obviously instead of kind of a more monochrome look, they have gone for the Colorchrome look, which is quite aptly named now that I think about it. So lots of colorful mods there, yeah, and I think this set is going to be pretty successful. I'm not really big on having this many colors on a key set. That's just my personal preference, but I can see this doing very well. And man, this is a pretty nice base kit as well.
Yeah. I genuinely really like this set. I think it looks really good. It looks really crisp and clean. So this uses a brighter white than most key sets do as well. So it's a really nice white. The contrast of the colors on the mods are really nice. I think it looks great. I think this looks really clean, really nice. I think the renders look great as well. The renders really do it justice, and it looks really good. So shout out to Snurbassen who's done these renders because they look pretty clean. I'm a big fan of that. Kitting, in terms of kitting, there's lots of compatibility in the base kit, so you can have everything, including your numpad. F13 is there on this particular one. I can see it. It's definitely there. Extra Alice B key. There's some split space bars. You've got 7 new bottom rows. You've got full UK ISO support in there included. You know, there is an absolute ton of compatibility. That does mean that this is probably going to be more on the expensive side as base kits go.
This has got to be like 100. This has got to be like $135, $140, $145 base set, I would imagine.
Yeah, I was thinking 150.
Maybe even 150. I was trying to be a little generous, but I mean, it is incredibly compatible, and you know, unsurprisingly, there is full UK ISO in there because you know, I believe he is an EU user himself. Or ISO user himself. So
I think he's in Sweden. I think so.
He's in Norway, according to
Norway. Oh yeah, Norway. So he actually sent me my my volcano that I built on stream last week, so I bought it off him. Yes, so I should have known that it was Norway. But yeah, so UK ISO support is kind of a surprise. I thought it would have maybe gone for a kind of Nordic kit or something like that. But hey, you know, it's entirely up to him to do what he thinks best.
Yeah. Well, maybe he values your friendship and he knows that you're going to buy the set.
He did ask me. He said, "Are you going to buy this?" He teased me with it, and he said,
"That's why it's there." If Jay didn't say yes, that UK ISO kit non-existent.
Oh man! So interestingly, this is a slight aside, and I'll be really quick on this. Someone, when I first joined TalkBack, someone asked me for what keys needed to be in UK ISO. So I sent him a screenshot and sent it off. And then we talked about the set on the show. The set went to group buy, and I'm not going to say what set it was or who the designer was because that'd be unfair. But then when it came out and the set shipped, I never showed it off on screen because I didn't buy it. So I didn't show it off on stream. I didn't build it. And the guy reached out. He said, "You didn't buy my set, but I put UK ISO in it." I said, I didn't realize I was supposed to buy it. You know, I didn't realize that there was a reason that I had to buy it. So there was an expectation because he put the keys in there just for me that I was going to buy the set. So yeah,
that's freaking hilarious. Shout out to I'm gonna try to not mess up this username, but I'm sorry if I do. Tesachka, is raiding with a party of 59. Thank you so much for that raid. Appreciate that, my friend.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show. If you're new around here, we're a keyboard content studio that talks about keyboards, and we often build keyboards as well and do other keyboard content. But right now, we're in the middle of a bit of a news show, so we're going over some of the topics that have come out over the last week and dissecting them a little bit. So feel free to grab a drink and maybe grab a snack and just hang tight and watch. Yeah, it's all for good fun, and hopefully people learn a little bit from it as well. So welcome everyone.
Just while we're taking a little break from talking about the interest checks, a big shout out to the Yangs and Captain Schwa for $200 and $35 donations as well to Clacker's Care. So as you can see, that total is going up. We're just over the $3,000 mark now, guys. We've gone up $1,000 during this stream alone. We've got $1,000 more to go before the end of the stream because we are going to hit 4,000 in this show before we hand over to the people that are after those. So yeah, thanks guys for supporting that, and we will get to that $4,000 mark.
Yeah.
You guys can do it. You guys can make it.
Absolutely. And also, I see your question in chat there, Crazy Boy. Ask that at the end of the Top Clack episode during our Q&A segment, where we have a dedicated section just for asking questions, and that's a good one. So feel free to ask that one during that, and we will definitely address it later. And of course, to anyone else that has questions, save them for later. We will try to get to as many of them as we can. Also, absolutely great to see Salvin in chat as well. Run CNC, my dude.
Hey, Salvin.
Heck yes. All right. Well, let's get back to the interest check here, since we do still have quite a few topics left on our news doc. So yeah, base kit looking at pretty good. Colors looking at pretty decent. Hopefully the price isn't too astronomically high, but this is looking pretty nice. This is looking pretty high potential, and I think this is going to sell quite well. And I also love these renders, by the way. You're right. The Flex Virgo.
Good.
I particularly like the Flex Virgo renders. I think these are just... That board is really cool with this set in particular.
I can't wait to get my Flex Virgo in. I'm really psyched for that board.
Oh, you got one?
For that one?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got one. Yeah.
You're so much cooler than I am. Oh man, it looks really good on the Iron 165 as well. Oof. But what doesn't really look good on that board though? Let's be real.
Even done an ISO render on that 165 as well. So nice. Good to see how it's going to look. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So look forward to this one, guys. I imagine it's coming relatively soon, although I don't see an actual date. So let's go ahead and move on away from GMK for just a second. Talk about Cat for just a second, which is of course a PBT set. So it's the interest check for Cat Crusader, and I'm gonna be the first to say it here. I think we're getting mighty close to completing our entire Konosuba roster in terms of key sets in our community. So, we've had multiple sets come out from Konosuba characters already. Cat Lich ran, I bought that. Cat Explosion ran, or actually I think that's about to run. That's Megumin. There's also an Aqua design key set. Now we have Crusader, which if you're a fan of the show, is based on Darkness, who is kind of this powerful Crusader knight female character that is
Sure.
Her gimmick is that she's like really perverted. Like that's kind of like her thing. So I'm not going to elaborate more than that, but she's a great character. I'm a weeb, whatever. I love the show.
It sounds like that when you mention stuff like that. I'm really glad that I have no idea what these reference and that I don't get the source material for some of them.
Yeah. Well, this I don't expect you to understand this, Jay. This is anime, and you haven't understood the Konosuba sets that we have checked out previously. But the theme is obviously just a piece of the puzzle, and to a lot of people, that honestly doesn't matter too much. So let's talk about the set as it is, though. How do you feel about the actual colors of the set? And the design?
Do you remember last year around October when it was almost Halloween? There was an add-on kit for GMK in orange and black. This kind of reminds me of that set. I'll be honest, I'm not really a fan of that peachy orange color. It doesn't work really well as the modifier keys, but it does look really good on the alphas. So on the black base cap with the orange legend, it looks really nice there, but I'm not a fan of it as the actual color for the modifier keys. I think it looks reasonably good overall. I think with the dark modifier keys, I'm actually quite a big fan of it, especially with the darker spacebar. Again, novelties, I'm going to assume that they do relate back to the source material, but it's not my knowledge, so I'll let you touch on those. But compatibility, as always with cat sets, is really, really strong, and we are starting to see cat set ships now as well. So Cat Milkshake has shipped. There is more cat sets coming. I understand from a couple of vendors that they're actually getting ready to start to ship more now. So I think we're starting to see proof that cat might be the profile to go to if you do want some of these more esoteric layouts. So yeah, I think it's going to do pretty well. Will this set either way, because we know that the community is full of people who follow these kind of shows, irrespective of whether I know the source material or not. But yeah, I think the dark version of the key set looks okay. I'm not a fan of the peach keys personally, but there's one on the Brutal 60 where it's just all the dark keys with the orange legends, and I really like that.
Yeah, I need to go back and actually find the renders, because I've just been scrolling through the standard amount of cat kits, which are plentiful, to say the least. But that's definitely one of the cool things about cat, because of the way they do the MOQ. It's really easy to get a lot of kits. You can pretty much outfit any board as long as you buy the right kits. So that's always nice to see, too. That's another reason why we generally don't cover all the kittings for cats, whereas we often do on GMK, just because the way the kit and MOQ works so differently. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the dark version looks pretty good here. I'm a little lost on some of the novelties, but it's been a little while since I've watched the show, so I'm just a little fuzzy on that. But I think the colors overall are fine, and being someone that actually really likes Konosuba, I'm okay with all these Konosuba sets. I bought Cat Lich. I'll probably buy Cat Explosion. I'll probably buy this. Let's be honest, and I'll probably buy whatever other ones are based on Konosuba characters, because I'm a weeb.
Fair enough, man. You do you.
Yeah. Oh wow! I just got to the renders with the darker novelties. You're right on the
yeah. It looks really good at the
that does look extra good with the dark novelties, or the dark mods rather. Sorry, but yeah, that should be coming. Oh, interesting. They rendered it on the SP111 too. You don't see that often enough. That's a cool one.
Yeah, it's a cool board. I'm excited for when the group buy ships for that one.
Heck yeah! All right, so there you go, guys. If you're a fan of Konosuba and maybe you Darkness is your waifu or your best girl, then bam, here's a cat set for you. Let's go ahead and move on back to GMK. Just wanted to take a quick review.
No shortage GMK, guys. Yeah, no shortage.
This one could make a lot of people happy, though. This is by Beep, and this is the interest check for GMK Bento Round 2. And as we know, Bento Round 1 was a very successful key set. It was kind of one of the first sets, and I feel like in a large handful that started to sell over 1,000 units. And I feel like at the time it was
the first set off of drop to sell 1,000 units, if I remember rightly.
This ran on novel keys.
Yeah, this was run on novel keys, but it was the first set off of drop. So I think drop had done some sets that had hit 1,000 before, like laser or whatever else had come before it.
Yeah.
But this was the first set outside of a drop run to 1,000 base kits.
Yeah, so obviously it goes without saying that Bento, whether you like it or hate it, was a pretty popular key set. It did very, very well. Enough to warrant a round 2. Obviously, we know Beep is a very, very good and very experienced designer. He knows, he's very in tune with the community. He knows what a lot of people like, what a lot of people want, and he knows how to deliver that. So I imagine this is very correctly and aptly timed, and I'm okay with it. And he's taken a couple interesting choices as well, a couple different interesting approaches, if you will. Similar to like we saw in, why am I blanking on it now? We just talked about Olivia++, where they ran the dual base kit with the darker ones to get more monochrome approach, and then you have the more traditional base kit, which is the kind of traditional original Bento. But yeah, the new one, the monochrome revival base kit. I'm a big fan of this because, to be honest, I thought the set looked a little too busy in the original configuration, and I still do, admittedly, although I know it's a very nice set. I think the revival base kit just really cuts down on a lot of the visual noise, and I think it looks quite a bit nicer this way.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree. I still have Bento, and I've never even opened it. I've got it up on a shelf there. I've never even opened the base kit. It's still completely sealed from the group buy. Mainly because I disliked the ISO support, which was 2 of the same key, which this set does continue. I think it's very easy to fix. You just need 1 different legend on there. It's very easy to fix. But I think I agree. I think the revival base kit does look nicer than the original traditional base kit. Having that kind of blue monochrome kind of set does work really, really well. I think it looks nice. Yeah.
Yep, and you have lots of other kits to go along with this as well. So if you're not a fan of the Japanese sub-legends, you can pick up the Latin additional kit there. It does come with the extra tab. as well as a mod-colored pipe and tilde too. So this is cool because they structure it like this. You're able to buy this along with a base kit, and you can outfit 2 different layout boards with kind of 1.5 GMK sets. As someone that appreciates value, I really like seeing that approach. Next up, they have the salmon and seafood kits, which are 2 respective novelties kits, depending on which color you like. I see a lot of the same things, I think, here. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but a lot of these look relatively familiar. So probably a fairly safe rerun of that. And of course, they have a 40s kit and a Spacebars kit. That's the Sakana and Chopsticks kit, respectively, there. So some decent extra 40s compatibility, as well as a pretty good Spacebar kit as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, there's plenty of renders as well to go through. Interesting, it's rendered on the Pearl. We don't often see
the Pearl?
See key sets rendered on the Pearl. But yeah, the Pearl makes an appearance on this one. So nice to see some more unusual boards. The Bullet as well.
The Omega, even. When was the last time you saw something rendered on the Omega?
The Omega 60, gosh, long time ago.
That's cool. Oh, the Bullet! The NL Bullet! This is my favorite. Yeah. This is my favorite Plonk case. This is even more obscure. This is really cool. Man,
there's some very unusual cases.
That's cool. Yeah, this ran like 4 years ago. This was like one of the first like high-end ortho 4x12 cases. That was such a cool buy. Anyways, back to the set. It looks pretty good. It looked pretty good last time. It did really well last time. I imagine it's going to do really well this time as well. Especially with that new revival kit. I've been hearing people talk, and it seems like a lot of people are pretty okay with the way this new kit looks. So it's cool. Gonna be cool to see how that goes. And like I said earlier, Beep's an expert, so that's gonna just go really well. No problems there.
Yeah, I think it'll do.
Where's it running? Is that gonna run on novel keys again? I didn't actually look.
I don't think it mentions any vendors. I didn't see it mention any. So I'm not actually sure where it's going to run.
Yeah, that'll be...
It's scheduled for August. So it is going to run in August. But it doesn't say where, as far as I can tell. Yeah. I assume it's going to be Novel Keys, all right? It has to be.
I mean, you would think. I mean, he ran it first with Novel Keys. Wouldn't be surprising to see it again. Anyways, let's move on to something that I know you're kind of interested in. This is more than just a key set, because this topic it goes beyond that. This is a very community invested topic. So
should we give a little bit of background on this one? Do you want me to do that? Or?
Sure. Yeah, you're going to be able to articulate it way better than I am, because you were actually part of the buy and I wasn't.
Yeah, so the original GMK Hype Abused ran quite a few years ago, 5 years ago now, if you can believe it. And it was run by Bunny Lake. And back in the day, this is before vendors were really kind of a thing in the community, and a lot of the sets were community driven, so they were run by just people at home in their bedrooms rather than actual companies that had, warehouses and everything else. And the set had a few problems. So lots of people got their sets shipped within a reasonable time frame. I think it was like a year at the time. Just because it was a personal thing, it was a project rather than actually something that was sold as a product by a vendor. But there were some problems. So many people got the kits. Some people got no kits at all. And then quite a few people were actually displeased to find that they didn't have a certain key in the base kit as well. So there's no F8 keys in a lot of the sets sold. So even today, you'll still find a lot of these original run of the GMK Hype Abused sets that don't have an F8 key in them, and they do get sold around every now and again on Mech Market, and this is where it originally comes from. Now, interestingly enough, I think GMK Hype Abused Round 2, which was run by Originative, actually delivered before this one did as well, because there's still some of those people out there that have bought a full base kit and don't have any.
I mean, that's part of the problem. We've seen like 8 or 9 or 12 or like 15 revisions of Hyperfuse before the original buyers have all received their products, which is it's always been baffling to a lot of people in the community, and which is why it's arguably one of, if not for sure, our biggest drama as a community overall. I think throughout the history.
just to put that into context, there was GMK Hype Abused, which was this particular one by Bunny Lake. Then there was GMK Hype Abused that was run by Originative. Then there was Hype Abused Reader, which was kind of like a tweaked version. Then there was Hype Abused Origins. There was a DSA Hype Abused in there as well at some point. There's been a JTK Hype Abused in there. There's the second round of Hype Abused Origins as well, which changed things up again and had some different kits and options and things in there. And now we have this version, which is GMK Hype Abused, which is a fun play and take on the original name.
Yeah, it's a very potentially appropriate name here, depending on who you are. But this comes from Wilba, who obviously is a veteran in the community. We know him. You know, he's been making stuff for a long time. He makes some of the best PCBs we have in our community. We know he's established. We know he has, you know, a lot of experience in the community. And like he says in this thread, he was part of the 2015 group buy, and you know, he never had it. He just never got it. So like this is just a set that has just never been delivered. And you know,
I got my set. I just didn't get the F8 key. It's up there on my gingham. But yeah,
we'll talk about more of the F8 stuff in a second, because that's the best part of this thread, in my opinion. But yeah, so he's calling it GMK Hype Abused, and I think that's relatively apt. And I kind of I get it. I understand. Like, if you were waiting 5 years for a set, and let's be honest, like, they're never gonna ship. They're just not. And
this is the thing. This is the thing. He said in the thread that he has the keycaps for people, and he's just not shipped them.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
Yeah, and they just never shipped. So it's very frustrating.
Yeah. But anyways, he's looking at putting out a very similar product, you know, for the community, that like to where other people can actually finally get this if they want to purchase it. And I think that's pretty awesome. The base kit is actually really good here too. The only things that I have a small issue with, and I think I see why they did it, just because it's more of a traditionalist thing, but I don't like taking away the mod-colored pipe and tilde, because a lot of people really do use those. They like the color symmetry. I'm one of them. I get it's just a preference, and it's not, you know, correct. It's not technical or whatever, because they're not alphas, but like, some people appreciate the color symmetry more than, you know, what color their cap is based on what the function it is does. And I'm one of those people. And it'd be cool to have those in. But other than that silly rant, I do think the base kit is very well equipped.
Wilbur's done a great job with this base kit. You know, he's covered pretty much all bases. Numpads included, you know, the full TKL ANSI layouts there, UK ISO. Wilbur's putting UK ISO. Wilbur, if you ever watch this, thank you very much, man, because I really appreciate that. You know, you've got Sangan support for the bottom row. There's even a couple of 1U keys in there as well. 6U spacebar, 65% coverage. The coverage is really, really good. It's really strong. You know, really happy with that.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to complain about. But what I really love, which is just fantastic, is this Faith Restored kit. Because I don't know if it was Wilba that came up with that name, but shout outs to whoever did, because that is just so perfect. And the idea here is so simple. It's like, it's comedic, but it's so like purposeful as well, because one person could buy this, or let's say, I mean, how many are in here? There's 10 in here?
10.
So like one person could buy this, 10 people can go in on it, and you split the cost and you get like your F8 key for like $1 or $2 or whatever. So it's like, it's so cool that you can just spread it around like that. So because I mean, like you mentioned earlier, you know, a lot of people have their sets, but they don't have their F8 keys. I know quite a few people that still don't have their F8 keys, particularly. So it's interesting to see. And man, this was such a clever idea, man.
The naming of it as well, Faith Restored, F8 Restored.
This is the best thing I've seen this week. This is my favorite. This part of this thread is my favorite news topic of the week. It's just too good. And there's not a whole lot more to say on this without you know, kind of stirring up a bunch of drama. But I will say that if you're interested, read through the whole thread, like through a lot of the comments, because Bunny Lake actually, I've read through some of the pages. Bunny Lake starts to get involved as well, and there's like a little subtle back and forth that's kind of interesting if you're into that kind of thing. But I definitely suggest the read, and I definitely suggest supporting this project, particularly if you're one of the people that are affected by, you know, the 5-year delay, or, you know, what is effectively an infinite delay, because, I mean, they still haven't shipped. Like, there's nothing saying these are going to ship, so, You know,
Yeah.
you need some kind of alternative, and here you go. Wilba's doing it for you.
Yeah, and hey, if he's got permission to do it now, which I think he has, as you
Yes,
mentioned it before
yes.
the show, on reading through, then that's great, because you know, Wilbur's a really respected member of the community. He knows what he's talking about. He's done a lot of things for the community. He's really furthered it in a lot of aspects, and he's got the weight and the pull to make sure that this happens in a good way. So yeah, I'm really excited to see this come back. You know, I do think that this is the best version of Hype Abused, all things considered. It's my favorite version, and I still use it on a board. Sadly, it's not on the board I want to use it on, but I use it where I can without the key that's missing. But yeah, it's written in a really, really interesting way as well. So Wilbur has gone out to make sure that it's clear that he's upset about the original situation, but that he wants to make things right as well, which is really, really, you know, a stand-up way of doing it. So yeah, really, really excited for this.
Yeah,
I think it'll do really well.
Yeah, I don't see this going poorly at all. I think this will be fairly a hit. And I mean, it's been 5 years since we've had this version of the set anyways. It's probably time for a rerun to begin with.
Wasn't the JTK version this same colours? Or very similar? I don't think it matched exactly, but I think it was quite close.
Yeah, but I mean, JTK... Yeah, I have a problem. I have like a personal issue comparing GMK with JTK. Like personally, I don't think they're a comparable product. I think JTK quality really is like a tier or two lower. But yes, there was indeed a JTK run of this. There was even an SA run that we forgot to mention earlier.
Yeah, I do like the SA one. So the Hype Abused Origins actually copies the SA colours. So the SA set did run before the GMK set.
What was the one that
changed colours?
What was the other one that flopped super hard? There was Redux, which didn't do that well, and there was another one that was also something else, like a little bit after that.
Oh, there's been so many. I think one day it'd be really nice for someone to all of the Hype Abused sets.
I love Twitch chat. I love Twitch chat because they always know. Remix, yeah, Hyperfuse Remix. I'm pretty sure that one also flopped. But yeah, they just put out so many iterations.
Cat Hyperfuse come in as well.
Cat Hyperfuse Origins, yeah. So that's interesting. So yeah, best of luck to Wilba on this one. I think this is going to go pretty well, and I'm glad someone's taking the initiative. And the Faith Restored kit is just the play of the year, I think.
The naming for both kits, Hype Abused, and Faith Restored, both the naming is on point.
Yeah, this thread is just so decidedly Wilba, and I love every second of it. So yeah, looking forward to that. I'll probably pick this up just because it's called Hype Abused. All right, let's move on to a set that is also fairly interesting. This is
why do you always describe bad sets as interesting?
Because I don't want to be mean and say it's a bad set. I'm of the mind. Okay, this is the movement I've been on about lately. I really think that colors, we should avoid thinking about colors being good and bad and thinking about color combos being right and wrong. And we should start to accept at least a little bit that some people might appreciate other things that we don't. And in that sense, I think that there's probably at least a few people in chat that are really into this set. Let's be real. Like, some people are going to want to buy it. Do I think it's going to be a GMK Olivia scale set? No, of course not. But I don't want to just say it's a bad set, because then I would be like everyone else in the community, and I want to be.
Now you're trying to make me out as the bad guy. That's what's happening here.
Well, you are the bad guy. You are the bad guy. Colors are preference, and I don't think anyone's going to change my mind.
Yeah,
at least like mostly, like maybe not 100%, but like mostly preference.
Sure. I mean, there are bad color combinations out there that the vast majority of people will dislike. I kind of don't think that the theme of this set fits with the color choices. GMK Lasagna, okay, so lasagna's great. I love me some lasagna. I don't think there's anyone out there that dislikes lasagna in some shape or form, but I don't feel like this particular set does the kind of inspiration justice. For a start off, it feels more like GMK McDonald's or something sort of.
I will say that I'm not a fan of the colorway. I do think there are probably people out there that will like it. I'm not a fan. However, definitely read through the inspiration if you guys haven't already, because it's hilarious. It's Stouffer's lasagna. Like, that's what the set is themed off of, and that's so hilarious to me because, like this user, Slippery Pete, I too grew up eating a lot of Stouffer's frozen lasagna, and it's so delicious. Like, it's such a nostalgic flavor, and because of that, I can kind of see where he's coming with this. But the colors missed me a little bit on this one. But
Yeah,
colors aside,
I'm not a fan of the colours.
let's take a look at the base kit because I know before the show we were talking a bit about it, and you had a few issues with it.
I do. Yes.
This is a questionable base kit. Assuming that this is the right kit, it might not be. This is an interest check. Obviously, anything could be changed. But assuming this is the base kit he is proposing, there's quite a few things missing here.
There is, yeah. So first off, there is kind of no ISO support. It looks like there's ISO support at first glance, but there is a key missing. So there's no row 4 ISO key that is missing from there, so you can't outfit an ISO board. There's also no 65% support in this set either, because you can't outfit a 65% board with the keys that are there. But there are some interesting additions as well. So there are some split spacebar additions, and there is the LSB there too. Other than that, it's basically just an ANSI TKL. With either 6.25 U bottom row or 7 U bottom row.
Yeah, a fair amount of split spacebar support, though, oddly. So maybe this is just something that's kind of more tailored to him. Maybe this is just more of a set for him, and that's kind of why he's running it. And if people want to tag along, that's fine. Sometimes group buys are just like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's one of them, but this is a pretty polarizing set. I could see it. I could see it not doing that well.
The numpad's the same as well, because there's no other usual options that you get for numpads, such as the option for 2 keys for the 0, or splitting the plus and the enter keys. They're all standard. Having an optional homing key on the 5, all of those keys are missing as well.
Yeah.
So that strikes me as being a bit odd.
Yeah,
the novelties are the only part where it gets kind of interesting. I kind of like the lasagna novelty. I think that just doing this as a novelty set might be a better way of doing it.
Like if you're gonna make a set that's kind of like a meme, like you got to embrace the meme, otherwise it's just going to fail. I feel like here I worry a little bit. Is the Garfield novelty a little too close? It seems a little obvious, but maybe it's different enough. I don't know. I do love the lasagna novelty though, for sure. That's a good one.
The lasagna novelty is cool.
And
the Garfield one.
The desk mat also has Garfield on it. Like, it's not even attempting to be something else. So that could be infringing on the IP. So that you got to be careful on stuff like that, maybe. But I don't know. I feel bad because I really like Slippery Pete, and I think he does a good job on a lot of his products, but this feels a little bit like a miss to me. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say the interest check here is just too early to really know, because this base kit breakdown is just not that good. Numpad kit breakdown also just kind of weak. The novelties kit is just a render of 4 novelties. I feel like the interest check isn't as good as it could be, as good as it definitely should be. And because of that, I feel like we're maybe lacking a little bit of information. But I love that he put for vendors, Stouffer's is going to be running it. That made me laugh pretty hard when I was looking through it earlier.
I mean, to me, this just shouts meme set again, and it doesn't look anything like lasagna. It's a no from me, Bob.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, just in case you do happen to love it, this was GMK Lasagna, the interest check. And that could be running soon. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
and thank you, Sniper Bob, for raiding with a party of 4 as well, dude. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to Top Clack.
Yeah, hope you guys are doing fantastic today. We're amidst a pretty lengthy show, but we're getting through it. Lots more keyboard stuff to come, though. Don't worry, guys. This is only the beginning. Next up, we have an interest check for Tidal by Mekanisk, and this is his take on kind of a gradient set. He's not sure on whether he wants to run it in GMK or maybe a PBT manufacturer, for example, so that's still kind of up for decision and debate, just like his previous set, Fuyu, was. And this is his newest project, Tidal, so he's going for a gradient, kind of a blue gradient set this time.
Yeah.
And I usually don't like gradient sets, and I can't say I'm in love with this one, but this is tolerable for me. This is pretty tolerable for a gradient set.
I pretty much like this. I think
like
it looks
the colors.
Really good. The colors are nice. It's been thought out well. Mekanisk is one of those designers I think that we both like and respect, because he just has really simple designs and as being really elegant. Genuinely think this looks good. I'm not a fan of the white accent keys. I don't think they work particularly well, but the set as a whole looks really, really good. Big fan of it.
Yeah. Base kit breakdown is kind of interesting as well. It's fairly limited. It's a pretty cut down base kit, and they are kind of including extra keys to support that gradient that are kind of more or less dedicated to specific spots. So you lose out on a little bit of compatibility this way. So a pretty cut down base kit, but you still get a lot of fairly simple compatibility. No ISO support to speak of in the base kit though, but they do bundle it with the numpad. There is what? Oh,
There's an F13 in the base.
There is. Why is there an accent insert though? I feel like, is there like an actual reason behind that? I feel like that's kind of uncommon for
No
most
idea.
sets.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Yeah, never seen an accent insert key before. But hey,
yeah. Well, doesn't 9009 do that or something?
pass. I'd have to go and check.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Regardless, it's interesting to see it on other sets, so that's something you don't see too often. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the set actually looks okay. I think the accents do ruin it a little bit because they kind of interrupt the gradient just a little bit. So I would certainly not use those, but I would imagine this base kit would be pretty affordable just because of how few keys it does have. And they do have a numpad kit, of course, that is going to be bundled with some basic ISO keys there. So you will get the basic ISO support, and you do have a small kind of spacebar kit, which does also offer you the Alice B, as well as one you control an alt of varying colors. Ooh, okay, hold
It's
on.
for the left-hand side of the board.
Okay, yeah. I just had to I had to put it together in my mind. It took me a second. Okay, yeah. Okay, so there you go. Cool on that. We take a look at a couple of the renders here. Is this going to be one you're going to pick up?
I think so, yeah. I think this looks pretty good. This is really nice. It's genuinely, I like the whole blue to grey kind of transition. It's a nice look. I think I'd probably prefer this one to be in PBT, to be honest, rather than GMK.
Same.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited for this one. I think it looks really good. I don't think there's a McNoss set yet that I haven't bought in some shape or form. So
yeah, I like a lot of his stuff. Totally agree with you there. So yeah, that is Tidal. We have no idea when it's coming, and we have no idea if it's going to be GMK or otherwise, but look forward to that if you're a fan of that gradient. Next up is I don't even really know what to say about this. This is the interest check for JTK Avocado. I've seen a lot of food sets lately, by the way. Just fun fact pointed out there. But yeah, JTK Avocado. So if you're a fan of avocados, this could be for you.
sure.
What word? I don't know. How would you describe this set? How do you feel about this?
So normally I'd say that I like a green set, right? I'm not a fan of this one. To be honest, the only screenshot I like this in is the very opening one, right at the very top of the thread, where it's on the desk mat for the avocado one, and the alphas look kind of nice from that angle. I'm not a fan of the brown and the kind of creamy yellow that's been chosen for this. I get that it relates back to the theme and it works pretty well in terms of being avocado colors. You know, that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. The set just doesn't work for me. Something feels it's a little bit too yellow, I think, especially when you're looking at basic breakdown.
I love avocados. Don't get me wrong. Love me an avocado.
Yeah. Some avocado toast, man.
Yeah, man. I'm a millennial, right? Something like that. But anyways, I think when I first saw the base kit render of this set, the first thing I thought of was those like grandma teeth, like Penumbra GMK alphas. You remember those?
Yeah.
The ones that just look like smoker grandma teeth. I just, whenever I see a color that's like this, it just reminds me of that, and I can't get that out of my head, and it drives me nuts. So like I'm just not a fan of the colors of this. I love avocados, but I'm not a fan of the colorway here. With that said, the base kit is pretty intense. It does leave out the numpad, but it has basically everything else you would want. Pretty odd base kit. Yeah.
A ton of shift keys, a ton of compatibility keys, loads of 1U keys, accent space bars and mod space bars. No alpha space bars, which is kind of interesting, which is what we normally see in most sets.
I called it a fail when Olivia did it, and I'm going to call it a fail here too. You got to have alpha colored space bars.
Sure. Olivia is the only set, in my opinion, that's got away with it, and I that's the only set that I prefer to use it on. But yeah, I do get your point. You should nearly always have an alpha space bar. But then again, that yellow is pretty blinding. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this set isn't for me. I'm not going to buy the set, so to me it doesn't really matter. But I like some of the choices that we're seeing here. You can take a look here. We were talking about it earlier, but another set here doing a 2 base kit approach. Potentially, I don't know if that's how this is actually interest checked, but potentially a 2 base kit approach. There's one with kind of your standard text plus icon modifiers. Then you have kind of a more interesting icon kit for your modifiers on this next one, which actually uses quite a few icons that we don't see very often. So a lot of interesting keys on that one. If I did buy this set, which I'm not going to, this would be the kit that I would buy, just because I think I actually like a lot of those symbols. Spacebar and numpad, pretty standard stuff here. Pretty good numpad kit. Spacebar's kit, pretty good. I will still say it's a fail to not include alpha-colored spacebars, whether it's in the base kit or at least in the spacebars kit, or like have another kit, maybe. I don't know. But, like, you gotta have them. Like, that's just the way most people use their key sets on keyboards, is with the alpha-colored spacebar.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just, like, throw that in everyone's face. I feel like it's almost disrespectful. But then again, it's design language, and, you know, I'm not a designer, so I don't want to comment on that. It's just a mess. But regardless, the novelties are where I think this set actually shines a little bit. I think a couple of these are pretty darn good.
Yeah, I would agree. Some of the novelties are pretty good. I do like the little ducks and the kind of spoon. I'm not so massive fan of the avocado enter, keys. I'm not a huge fan of those. But the salad one's pretty cool. I like a salad key on my keyboard. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's healthy, right? It's kind of a wholesome. It's like a wholesome theme. Like avocados, have a lot of healthy fats in them. So I like that. Desk mat also. I'm totally all about it. Even though I don't think it's designed that well, but I love avocados. and I think this just like silly. It's like silly, but like I like the desk mat, but I don't think it's designed very well, because obviously your keyboard's going to cover a lot of that. Yeah, take a look at a couple of the board renders. I thought some of the renders they did were kind of interesting. Like they have it rendered on a sandwiched acrylic case, which is something you almost never see in renders. Usually you see all like the really high end boards, like the TGRs and the key colts and stuff, but kind of interesting to see the slightly more budget realm make an appearance in the renders. I always love seeing that.
Yeah, it's also rendered on the Rhyhorn as well, which is something that I've been looking forward to. I can't wait for that to go into group buy, because that's definitely a case that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to the Rhyhorn.
Yeah, that is such an interesting case. Yeah.
Yeah, look at the side of it. It's side profile. The way it encapsulates the caps at the top. Yeah, really dig that.
It's pretty awesome. It kind of reminds me of the Nemo that Zombuman was working on years ago that never really got off the ground. I wonder if that's still coming, because I actually it's a kind of a similar design, but I actually prefer the Nemo. But both very, very interesting. But regardless, this is JTK Avocado, and hey, maybe you really like the color of these alphas, and this set is totally for you. And if so, it should be running soon-ish. But everything's still TBD. So we'll have to check it out once it does hit the group buy phase again, assuming it does. Next up is something that I think took a lot of us by surprise with how well it's doing lately. Is Infinikey Islander. The PBT Islander is in group buy right now by ABEC. It's over at TKC, as well as some proxies, I believe. Yes, they are listed down there, of course. And I gotta be honest, I didn't think this set was gonna be as popular as it is. I thought the different color-sided mod caps were just really going to put off a lot of people, but apparently a lot of people are really into it, because it sold almost 600 units the first day, I think.
It was over that with the proxy numbers as well, so it was just under 600 just on TKC. When she added in the proxy numbers as well, it was well over 600 base kits in day one.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, more power to them. I think the set's pretty awesome, and honestly, I'm probably going to pick up a set, if either for myself or someone else. As well as the desk mat, 'cause I think the desk mat's actually pretty fantastic as well. But let's take a look at the actual base kit first, which is $80. It's an Infinikey set, so you get a relatively cheap price compared to a lot of others. Yeah, $80 base kit, and look at that compatibility. You got your numpad kit in there. You have basic ISO. I was looking around for UK ISO, but still can't find it. But you got the basic ISO at least. And you have lots of accents there, lots of layout options. All your 65, 75, Sangon HHKB. You got a lot of caps in this base kit, which is, unsurprising, I guess, because this is kind of how we see Infinikey sets set up a lot these days. Is, you get a lot of caps for your dollar, which to some people it matters, to some people it doesn't.
$80, it's a good price. But $80 base kit, that's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But $80 base kit, that's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of keycaps there is pretty damn good. It's a good solid base kit. There's very little that you can't support.
Yeah.
With that
I mean,
base kit.
with this base kit in GMK, this would be at least 170
Oh.
probably, if not 180 or more.
Yeah, maybe not quite that high, but yeah, it'd be over $150. Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the base kit looking pretty nice. There's a novelties kit here. Gives you kind of some duplicate novelties with each other, but of obviously different colors to support which side you want to use your novelties on. But
it's only $30.
Yeah, $30. That's a lot of. Yeah, unsurprising there. I like a lot of these as well. I'm not quite as into Animal Crossing as a lot of other people have been lately, but I do own the game. I have played it a bit, and I think it's a very, very adorable game with a lot to offer. And this set seems to be more of that. Honestly, just a nice set with a lot to offer, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is kind of like the whole like theme of Animal Crossing. And I feel like that's kind of reflected in the set here, and it's nice, and people are obviously totally okay with that, and people are buying it because it's selling super quick.
Yeah. The expansion kit as well offers a load of extra compatibility, so it does include the rest of the UK ISO, as well as terminal ISO support as well. So depleted Vespene, there you go, your terminal ISO, your US ISO, whatever else you need is there in the kit. It also gives some additional keys for, such as the brown enter for your numpad, and some additional arrows, as well as some Mac keys and some split space bars as well. So lots of different options there in that expansion kit. It really does flesh out
this is
the rest of the keyboards.
I mean, it's interesting. Not only do you get F13, but you get 14 and 15, and is this next to that? Is this the new Infinikey logo? Is that what that's supposed to be?
Yes, it is.
I don't think I've seen that actually before. That's kind of nifty. Okay, cool. So there's I think there's a few desk mats as well. So
there's 3 desk mats.
There's those kind of the turn up ones. Then you have this one, which I like the most, which has a little plane, has the kind of island to island fly in here. Pretty nice.
I think most people like that one. So interestingly, some really broad numbers here.
Are the numbers on the thread?
They're not, but roughly, nearly everyone who's bought a base kit has bought the novelties and bought the island hopper mat. It's the numbers are so close to 1-to-1. It's like 93% of people or something have bought the base kit, bought the novelties, and bought the desk mat as well. Like the desk mat and the novelties have almost sold the same number as base kits. It's absolutely crazy how well it's selling from those perspectives. But yeah, all 3 kits selling well. All 3 desk pads selling well, to be honest, as well. Lots of people really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, color me corrected and surprised. I didn't think it was going to sell as well as it is, and clearly it's on track to sell over 1,000 units, and I really didn't see that for this kind of color setup, but it shows that people are pretty open-minded to it, which is a great thing to see. So there you go. That's currently in Group I. It ends on May 29th, so you got a little under 2 weeks left to get in on that. There are your proxies, of course. All right, let's move on to what I think is actually our last topic of our news docs. Oh my gosh, it is.
Final topic.
It is. All right, so this is the group buy for GMK Lux. This is coming to you from Zombuman. And this is a set that's been in the making for a while, kind of a classical gold and black sort of set, I think is the original theme here. And I think, here, so it's originally by Beaming Robot, but it was picked up in 2018 by Zombuman. I remember the Beaming Robot interest check. That was definitely a number of years ago. So, how do you feel about Lux? It's a pretty simple set as far as the colors go.
I've been looking forward to this. I think I did prefer the original set, which had more of a golden colour than the yellow colour that's been picked in the end. But I've been waiting for this set to run for a long time. I do genuinely like it. I think it looks really, really nice. I think it'll do really well. I think it's a definite must-buy for me. I can't not buy this.
Yeah, and the base kit honestly looks pretty packed as well. Surprisingly, even for being a Zombuman set, there's like full UK ISO support in there. That's really, really impressive. You got the full numpad in there. You have lots of accents. You got a fair amount of spacebars, and even a little bit of 40s support there. Your Alice B. You have all your standard Sangon HHKB 65-75% stuff. Like, that's a nice base kit. Pretty nice. 250 kit MOQ, of course, but these days that's not terribly hard to get. This will sell well enough, yeah. There's a Spacebars kit as well, pretty standard stuff there, and he has a little price breakdown. Always love seeing that. And
that is nice, yeah. Having the price breakdown for all of the vendors is really nice.
Yeah.
That's something we should see in more interest checks, I think. Yeah.
Who did these renders? I like these renders a lot.
Given it's running on a Blotsky Industries, I'm going to guess a Blotsky did them.
Really? This doesn't look like. I guess I can kind of see some Blotsky in there.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it's just been a while. Maybe it's been a while since I've seen a Blotsky render. I don't know. Great renders either way.
Story may well have done them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great either way, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, the set's looking pretty nice. It's looking like it'll do pretty well. There are all your proxies. It opened on the 12th, and it closes on June 7th. So you have still a fair amount of time to get in on this if you're a fan of this kind of black and gold or black and yellow kind of aesthetic, depending on what you're thinking. It was supposed to be gold originally, right? That was the idea.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a golden version. Yeah.
It's probably hard to get like a true gold on a GMK cap, though, I'd imagine.
I think it was actually close to the Red Samurai gold. So I think I've still got keycaps here. I think it was actually originally more close to this kind of colour than the yellow that's used now. So I think I preferred this kind of colour with it. I think that would have been nicer, but I do really like the yellow as well. So it's a definite must-buy for me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It should do fairly well. So, bam, there is that, guys. Get in on it before June 7th, if this is your kind of thing. And yeah, that's actually going to round out our news doc for today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be moving over to a Q&A segment after a brief moment to talk about our sponsors, our wonderful, lovely sponsors for today. And then we're going to roll into our Q&A segment like we always do. So that's where you're going to be able to ask all the questions of the keyboard variety or otherwise. You sprinkle in whatever. But feel free to start asking the questions now. You can use the @TopClack tag to tag us so we can see the questions a lot easier. If you don't do that, we might skip your question because it's a lot harder to filter through the chat if we don't see the tags. So make sure you're doing that if you want us to answer your questions. And yeah, look forward to that. But go ahead and start asking questions right away. And we're going to be talking about our sponsors. So first and foremost up today, we have the one, the only, the wonderful Novel Keys, who has numerous things going on right now, including JTK Zen, which I know we didn't really cover on the show, but you should check that out. That could be something totally for you. As well as GMK Classic Blue, which is a really fantastic-looking blue set that just opened up recently. And it comes in a couple different varieties, whether you want more of a monochrome version or a more classical blue kind of setup here. Cat Arctic is also still running, and this is one of my favorite sets of the month because I'm a big fan of that colorway, and I think it works really, really well in Cat Profile based on the renders at least. And if you're in the market for pretty much anything else, chances are he might have you covered. He's got pretty much all the basic necessities you ever need: stabilizers, all sorts of switches. Some keycaps, some desk mats. Sometimes he has wrist rests. He's got some very interestingly weighted springs. He has plushies. Come on, who wouldn't want the olive plushie that Jay was just so pleasantly showing you there? So yeah, make sure you check that out. Novel Keys, good place. And if you want to save a couple dollars, you make sure to use the code CLACK if you're ordering in-stock items, and that'll get you 5% off your total order.
Yeah. Gator runs up on the shelf. And I can't reach it.
I have my.
Up on the top behind.
I always have my Gator on to my left, and then I always have my olive plushie or Nolive plushie or whatever to the right. So
yeah,
they always
my olive plushie with this.
They're honestly like super awesome. Like they're like really high quality plushies too.
Yeah. I got caught on a work conference call the other day, and I was just sat there and I forgot I got my camera, and I was just literally going like this with the plushie. And
oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. It looks questionable when you do that. Maybe yes, sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the topic at hand.
Yeah, moving over to our next sponsor, it is Kono.store. Link is in chat. So Kono have got a few things going on right now. They have completed their warehouse move, and they are still offering free shipping. So if you do want to join that, you can get free continental US shipping. It doesn't apply to overseas shipping, just continental US. But you can pre-order any of the sets you might have missed out on. So if you missed GMK Hero, you missed GMK Copper, you missed Cat Oasis, or any of the other sets that they've run quite recently, you can now join those sets as a pre-order pre-order price. That means you'll get your kit when the group buy ships. You don't have to wait for extras to be displayed on the site. So it's definitely one worth picking up. Ursa is one I think that we both bought, as Brian was just showing.
I forgot I bought that, but I did buy that. I love that set too. It looks so nice.
Yeah. Really, really excited for that. As well as that, you can also take a look at the Keystone switches, which are on pre-order. They only work at the moment with the Keystone PCB, but if you do want to try the switches out, have a feel for them, maybe get them as a precursor to picking that board up, you can do that. There are a ton of other switch options as well on the site that you can too. So definitely take a look at those. I'm really excited for those Keystone switches.
Dude,
really,
same.
really excited to
I wonder, now that these are done, I wonder if the actual keyboard will be done really soon too.
Yeah, I think it's not far away now, but the force curves on those switches look insane.
Yeah,
definitely.
I have no doubt that Hata is going to deliver on the design with those, so that's going to be
sure.
That's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, sorry guys. Moving right along, guys, to our next sponsor. We have the wonderful KBDfans, who always has a few things going on, at least. They always have lots of things in stock. We do have Enjoy PBT Kuroshiro, very popular black and white Enjoy PBT set. That's getting its second round. I believe is that open now? That is open now, right? Yes, it is open now. Right now. I think it just opened. So that opened pretty recently, I think. Yeah. So that's going on right now, and that's pretty awesome. That's a set that a lot of people have been enjoying, and I think it looks quite lovely. They are also going to be doing Enjoy PBT Cool Kids. That's coming pretty soon. A very kind of playful, whimsical set. That's certainly not for everyone, but it could definitely be for you. And also, hopefully, they're going to be restocking the KBD 6.7 V2 Mark IIs in the near future, because, man, those seem to go super quick. They restocked them, I think, recently, and they sold out, like, super duper fast. So sadly I wasn't able to get one, which I was trying to do, but hey, that's just how it goes. Failing that, they have lots of other things in stock, so if you're looking for keycaps, whether it's for Topra or MX, pretty much got you covered. Lots of switches in stock as well. They even, I think they're pretty much the only place these days that has a cat set in stock too. So if you want to try cat profile, then this could be something for you too. Only $89, and every now and then you should maybe have a peek at their B stock market, because sometimes they have some cool things in there, but it hasn't really been updated as much recently. But every now and then you can catch something pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely worth taking a look out for. Moving over to our final sponsor of today, it is Mekanisk, the lovely store run by Leandrin, who is a good friend of both mine and Brian's. So lots of things to note here. We talked about the Tind right at the very top of the show. The release paper is up there, so if you want to read about news on the Tind, you can definitely go take a look at that. And also congratulations to Leandrin, who celebrated the 5th anniversary of Mekanisk running just a few days ago. So I think it was earlier on this week. It was the 5th anniversary of the store being live as well. So congratulations, and a big well done from top thanks to you, Leandrin. Thank you very much for all you've done for the community. In terms of stuff that's coming, as I said, the Tind is going to come to group buy soon, so you can take a look at that, as well as the Type X as well, which is a great keyboard too. Additionally, there's also the new Durog Ultramarine stabilizers, which are now available for pre-order. You can add those to existing orders if you've already got an order for a keyboard coming, or you can buy them separately as well. I've picked some up. I'm interested to see what the color looks like when they come out. And he also has the WT60D PCBs in stock, which do match that ultramarine color as well. So again, if you want to pick up a really solid PCB that offers both ISO, ANSI, some flex cuts, all of that kind of good stuff, that might be the one for you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I love that PCB, by the way. We're going to swap back over to the chat view there. There we go. And now we will get to some of these questions. So I'm going to scroll back and start picking out the ones where I see tags, guys. Depleted Vespine starting us out is asking... oh, actually, wait. Before we start doing the questions, we were thinking of incentives for that $4,000 mark during the Q&A, weren't we, Jay?
Yeah. What can you ask us to do right now that will make you donate money, make us get to that $4K mark?
What are we currently at? We're currently at $3,065, I think, is what that is.
Yeah, $3,065 is where we're at currently. Yeah.
So $1,000 before the end of this segment is a pretty big ask, but maybe there's some incentives that we could do. What could we put ourselves through to get to that $4,000 mark? I think is a question. Give us some ideas in the chat. Make sure to tag us. But while we're waiting on a few of those, let's tackle a few questions just to be efficient. Depleted Vespine is asking, how many keycap sets do each of you have that are used but have an intact numpad still in the box? Almost every single keyboard, almost every single key set I own.
I've only got 3 numpads in use out of my whole collection, so
I
don't know.
I think I have.
100?
I think I have 0 numpads in use. Though that'll change later when I build up my Southpaw full size.
Yeah.
My first I think my first full size custom. Yeah, so that'll be pretty awesome. But yeah, every GMK set that I've ever bought that has a numpad and lots of other extra compatibility keys that I never use, yeah, they just never get used. They just right in a bag, right into my drawer. That's it, and they just stay there, which is sad because I hate not using like half of every set that I buy, but like it's hard to balance it, and our community's still trying to figure it out. So it is what it is, you know. Crazy Boy is asking, do you think at this point people will buy any key set that is supported by a vendor? There are so many weeb or meme key sets out there, and I haven't really heard any group buys failing lately. Well, there's sort of a reason for that. Partially being is that GMK, for example, at least in this instance in particular, they only work with businesses nowadays. They only work with vendors. They won't work with just community enthusiasts that are just trying to run a set. Like, they used to do that, but not anymore. So that's why you see pretty much all key sets being ran through vendors, is because that's pretty much just the way, that's what the acceptable way to do it is nowadays. So yeah, do I think anyone will buy any? I don't know about that. I think there's a lot of people in our community now, and I think it's growing at such a fast rate that sets are starting to sell more than they ever have before by like landslide margins, and like even the sets that are like memes and like almost failing are still passing MOQ, and that leads me to believe that there are people in the community, there are at least like corners or niches or at least individuals throughout the community that will buy those products. Like, they're totally okay with it. And, you know, that's fine. I don't think it should be something that, like, we shouldn't ever do or anything, but it's...
I completely get what you're saying. I don't disagree. I think one of the interesting things for me on this is that vendors won't touch a set that they don't think won't sell. So that's part of the reason why most things make MOQ. But there are some things that don't make MOQ. GMK Electric, whatever it was called, didn't make MOQ just a few weeks ago.
High voltage.
Earlier on this show. High voltage, yeah. High voltage, that's what it was called.
That set was just... that could have been done so much better.
It could be, yeah. But then something that was really dear to both of us, I think, that we both really liked, GMK Sparta, that didn't even get through the first week before it was cancelled. GMK Rocket as well, it was cancelled halfway into the goodbye. Things don't happen, but I think what happens now is that vendors are more astute as to what will sell and what should be successful, and they're also more astute to when things aren't going so well immediately in the group buy. They know when to pull the plug, and they know at the point which to say, do you know what, actually, it's not going to make it. You could look quite recently at GMK Black Lotus. That started off really poorly. It started off and it didn't look like any of the kits were going to hit MOQ, and then all of a sudden it just ran up the numbers and it hit 500 base kits. So it's really difficult to tell how things are going to go until they get into group buy these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Max F Live rated with a party of 14 just a little bit ago, so thank you so much on that.
Nice.
We've had quite a few raids today, so shout outs to all of you, man.
Yeah,
it's been super wholesome, which is great because obviously we're doing kind of a charity thing going on right now as well with Clacker's Care.
Yeah.
Which I will be talking more about after this segment and during my build portion.
Yeah, just to shout as well, Melodet, thank you very much for the $20 donation, and PMSing Chicken, thank you very much for the $42. He does say we have to show him some keyboards, so once we get through the questions, we have to show him some keyboards. So I think we can both achieve that. Yeah,
that's fair. I have keyboards in my closet. I can go get some keyboards. We can definitely do that. Sniper Bob is asking, think Blue Samurai will be as popular as Red Samurai?
I think it'll do well, yeah.
I think it'll
for me, but I think it'll do really well.
I think it'll do well. I don't know if it'll do better, or I don't know if it'll be more popular, because Red Samurai already kind of had a really popular phase before Blue Samurai ever came along. So, just based on how many sets of Red Samurai Drop has sold, there's going to be way more Red Samurai on the market than there is Blue Samurai, just in number of, units sold. So that's something to keep in mind, too.
Take it as this next particular one, then
the blue will probably be more popular on this run just because the red has already ran. Would be my guess.
I think so, yeah.
But
if the blue's new, it's going to do well. I think,
yeah. All right. Zeitjuk is asking, have you seen GMK Blink? And if so, what are your opinions on it? Yeah, we covered GMK Blink when it was an interest check, like, I don't know, a year ago or whatever. It's been a while. I don't really remember the set. I mean, because of the way we do this, Jay and I have to look at, you know, almost every set every single week.
100 sets a week.
Yeah, and like it's hard to always remember, like, in pinpoint accuracy, like how every single one of them is, you know. Like I barely remember it, so I apologize. I can't really make any comments on that. I have to look at it again. I remember thinking it was okay. I think.
Yeah, I think it was fine. I think it's nice, and I think it'll do really well in group buy. I don't refer it back to the band Blink, I think, or what they call Blackpink or something.
It's like a Korean
but I do like
pop, like idol band, right, or something.
Yeah,
K-pop,
something like that.
Yeah.
But I do really like the colorway itself. I think it looks really good. I was actually really sad that that Pudsy's was it called Punkfish didn't get anywhere, and then Blackpink kind of took the mantle for it. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, Pudsy did start that. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, moving on. Phantom Taco is asking a pretty lengthy one here. What do you feel the community hasn't covered enough or explored yet that you would like to see happen more? For example, more objective / empirical studies on Switch materials, specific color designs, not necessarily specific colorways themselves, on keycaps, form factors you wish you could see more on group buys, etc. Okay, so basically, what would we like to see happen, explored more in the community? What do we want to see people tackling more?
Okay, I've got a few things.
For sure. Go ahead.
First thing is plastic compositions. I think there are so many plastic compositions that we don't even explore today in the keyboard community for a number of different things. Not just plates, which is where we see most of the inspiration, but keycaps as well. I think there's absolutely more things than I mean, the three generic ones that we see are ABS, PBT, and POM. You know, we've seen other things like PPS very rarely, but there are so many different more plastics that we could use for things like that. So many other materials that we could use. So I think that we should definitely see more of those materials brought in and for usage across a whole range of plethora of things, not just necessarily keycaps, but you know, for keyboard cases and housings. And I'd like to see a lot of recycling as well take place.
Ooh, yeah,
right now we don't recycle stuff. One of the big things I've tried to do is everything that I ship now goes carbon neutral and it's completely offset, and I work really hard to do that. What I can't do is necessarily offset the production of keyboards and things like that, which is really hard to work out how much damage they're doing and what the carbon offset of those is. But I would really like to see much more of a recycling trend, you know, to that kind of extent. So using recycled materials, using sustainable materials, all of that kind of thing. I think that is where I'd like to see the community go. I don't think it'll replace all of the kind of customs we see, and it certainly won't replace it for me. I still will be interested in those, but I'd love to see that kind of thing take off. I think one of the key places I think it will take off first is in the artisan world. Those guys are always on the ball about looking for new options, new ideas, new things to put in the resins and things like that. And to see some sustainability in there will be really, really good.
Yeah, it's a great question, by the way. A couple things I'd like to add on to that is you guys often hear me rant on the show about, like, typing experience, because to me, like, the physical connection to your keyboard is, like, the most important. Like, how much do you enjoy actually typing on it? And I think that we're kind of stuck in a rut currently in our community just because we are just using technology from decades and decades and decades and decades ago. And, like, while we are improving on them in some ways, a lot of the stuff, like our switches, for example, like, we're still using the same style of switch that we have been for decades. And, you know, we see other people like Hata over at Input Club working with Kale on that silo beam spring style switch in the MX format. That's going to be kind of a Hall effect style, I think, an analog system.
Yeah,
and that's really cool. Like, that's to me, that's going to be what our future looks like in 5, 10, 25 years in the keyboard hobby, because the way it is now, we're just rehashing old technology over and over and over again. And while we're often doing it in, like, cool and fun aesthetic ways, but, you know, we're not often bettering our typing experiences, and I feel like our community can do a better job of that. And on the same vein, I think more of a mental state of, I think the community should try to just be more accepting and more open-minded to a lot more in the community, and maybe not shut down so many people and projects so quickly, just because, you know, things that you don't like. And I know I've complained about already on this episode, I think, but like colorways, like I'm getting so sick. I'm getting so sick. I don't care about colorways in key sets anymore. I just don't. I don't anymore. I just do not care. And people have just made me not care because everyone just wants to argue about what blue is good and like what gray can go with this green, and it's like who's the leading authority on like what colors are right and wrong? And it hurts to whenever I see people like argue like that. I'm like, man, there's so many more positive things for the community you could be doing this time. And I don't know, it hurts to see. So I would like a more like open-minded mentality for some of the people in the community. I get some sets are bad, like sure, that is going to happen, but I think that people should be a little bit more open-minded and helpful, and maybe try to focus more on constructive criticism versus just being like, LOL, this is shit, which does happen. Like it just does happen. So
yeah, absolutely.
I see it every day, and it hurts. It hurts. Great question though. Anyways, continuing on here, Dara is asking, how's shipping times with the US with all the COVID stuff? It's a little...
Depends.
It depends. Yeah, I think within the US, it's been a little delayed in my experience, but like not a whole lot. Like I've been getting packages maybe like 1 or 2 days later than I normally would have, but that's about it.
Yeah. Interestingly, things I shipped in March still haven't necessarily arrived to people in the US or early April. But I've sent like 10 keyboards in the past 2 weeks, and every single one of them has been delivered within 24 hours. So from leaving my door to the continental US, it's been 24 hours. So UK to US, it's been super quick. I think the biggest impact is on the price. Shipping prices have gone up, and that's just literally there are fewer planes in the sky, there are fewer ships on the sea. You know, it's just adding to costs. There's fewer people working. There's fewer people working at the courier companies. So costs have increased, but I think it just depends on shipping. It depends on the company. It depends on where in the world it's going to. Like shipping to New York is still really bad, but shipping to middle of the country somewhere is just fine. It all really depends. I think, as Brian said, the internal US Postal Service seems to be a lot slower than normal, but the courier services seem to be doing okay.
Yeah, it's good. All right, now we're starting to get into where we asked what we could do to hit that 4,000 mark. We're starting to see some.
Oh, nice.
Some potential options.
Let's see what's come up.
Depleted Vespine is saying, hurl keycaps at each other, 100 USD for each hit. But like, we can't throw that far.
It's like 3,000 miles away.
More. I mean, I'm pretty confident in my throwing arm. I'm not that confident. Visionaire says jumping jacks / push-ups. I am so out of shape, but I could probably do a few. Penguin, this is an interesting one. Penguin saying you could make ramen noodles in an unused case. Would that mean you have to apply heat to your case though to like cook the noodles? Because
you can cook them in a pan and tip them into the case, right?
Oh, for sure. I wasn't sure if it like cooking versus serving. He says make ramen, which leads me to believe you would have to like actually assemble the ramen in the case. I don't know if I'd want to apply like that much heat to any of my cases, but like I would consider eating out of a case. I would clean it first, but like I wouldn't mind. I would do that.
Hey, I'd eat something on my next stream out of the case if that would get people to donate tomorrow. Later on today for me, but tomorrow for you guys.
Clean shave on stream. I haven't been clean shaven since 2014, 2015.
Oh, it's even longer than that. It's probably 25 years since I was last clean shaven. No, it's not quite that long. 22 years since I was last clean shaven, as in like completely all gone. Yeah. But you know what? I tell you what, right? If this hits the $10,000 mark, if we do the $10,000 mark, I will go clean shaven. I will shave myself and go clean shaven.
I have no trouble with that either. I could do that. My beard grows pretty quickly, anyways. So it's not too bad. That's definitely up for consideration.
Yeah, get us to the 10,000 mark, and we will both appear completely clean shaven for the next episode. On top of that, if that hits the 10,000 mark,
if it hits the 10,000 mark, yeah, just tell us that we have to do it, and we will.
Yeah, well, beards will be gone.
I need to go like
hair will be gone.
Oh man, I need to go buy stuff so I can clean shave. That's how long it's been so clean shaven. Jesus. All right. I kind of like the ramen noodles though. Like the ramen noodles in a case sounds kind of fun. I don't know like what case I use, but kind of interesting. Right, I'm kind of sorting through some of the other ones. Lunar says, I see Brian got a new cup. Yeah, well, kind of. It's the same style of cup, it's just different color. Anybody else got any other ideas?
GPNW says he'll happily put us over $4,000 with a 65% board for cash. Okay, what 65%?
Oh, like we send him a 65%.
Yeah, and he'll put us.
I don't think
Space 65. I've got Space 65.
I don't think I own a 65% currently. I own like 60%, but like no 65%.
Hey, GPNW, I've got a Space 65. Let me grab it. I'll desolder this, rebuild it to whatever specification you have. If you put us over $4,000 in the next 10 minutes, then I will send you this board rebuilt to whatever specification you want with whatever switches I've got in stock that you'd like. It's been barely used, but there you go, Space 65.
Nice. Classic J. Truly a genuine fella. So there you go. That's going to be up to G-Pone now, what he wants to do, which is fine either way, of course.
Yeah.
Don't ever feel pressure to donate money you don't have, ever. Let's see. PMSing Chicken says, how much to shave your beards? Oh, I guess we're kind of already covering that. If we reach the 10,000 goal, we'll both go clean shaven, and you guys will get to witness my second chin, which I don't know if it's ever been seen on stream before. Actually, now that I've lost weight, I wonder if I still have it. I probably do. Feels kind of like I do. I don't know. That'll be interesting. But yeah. Liturk donates 400 bits and says, we need more cat sets in the wild. I agree, man. I agree. Thank you for the bits, though.
Yeah.
Glad to see Cat Milkshake is starting to ship soon.
It looks really nice as well. Yeah,
it looks pretty good. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see. A couple more questions here before we swap over to the build stream portion. Sure Fortuna is asking, he subs with Twitch Prime and puts a little heart there as well. So thank you so much for that. Putting that Twitch Prime to use. I love seeing it. Alright.
Gotta love a good sub.
Yeah. I'm still scanning through chat, guys. There's a lot of Twitch chat today, guys, so just bear with me. I apologize.
Max says, how much do I need to donate to get your Dolce shirt, Brian? There you go.
To get my Dolce shirt? I only have one of those.
Yeah. The one that you own, yeah. The one that you own and love. How much does he have to donate to get that shirt off you?
It's an extra large. You know this, right? Actually, I think it's just an extra large. Or it might be double XL. I don't remember.
He wants it unwashed as well. He wants it
unwashed?
As it is right now.
Wait, who is asking this?
Max F.
What? Oh, I love that shirt. That's like literally my favorite shirt. All right. Get us over 4,000 by the end of this Q&A, and you can have my Dolce shirt. And if you truly do want it unwashed, I don't know why you would. I will send it to you unwashed. I love that shirt. I'll just try to like track down another one. Oh man!
I'm sure Matt and Blocks can help you out.
Phantom Taco says, "Shave on stream, and I'll donate $100." I like literally cannot clean shave on stream because I don't have the tools to clean shave on stream right now. I don't actually own razors or an electric. I own an electric buzzer, but it's not one of the ones that like actually gets down to the skin.
Right. Okay. But yeah, we will go clean shaven if we hit the 10K.
I can go buy stuff to shave. That's not a problem. But we have to hit that 10,000 goal. I'm not clean shaving otherwise because I look way too stupid when I'm clean shaving.
My wife will legit probably divorce me if I shave.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend won't be happy. she'll probably avoid me for a few days at least. But hey, it's for a good cause.
Absolutely.
Ron DG says full body. I am so hairy. I have like all hair, so I could not. I gotta say no to that.
Yeah.
That would take so long to shave like your entire body.
Oh man, wouldn't do it. Yeah, wouldn't do it.
Sorry, I'm still trying to
I can't
scour.
imagine how itchy it'd be growing all that hair back as well.
Oh, it would feel really bad. I'm not looking forward to regrowing a beard because it's not comfortable. Lunasama says, I'll donate 500 if I get a J01.
Yeah. Hey, more on that soon.
Ooh. Alright. Max, man. Why does Max want my Dolce shirt?
I think he just wants to deprive you of the Dolce shirt.
That's so mean. It's like literally my favorite shirt.
But it's being mean for charity, so that's a good thing, right? It outweighs the bad, and
is it?
It's for good. Yeah, that's how you.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Silverian77 asked opinion on the E8.5. I know Jay built one, but curious if he has an opinion after the proto build. Have a chance for a group buy. So I actually really enjoy it. I think at group buy price, it's a pretty good board. It's actually just behind me, just over there. You can see it with the delivery on. I do really enjoy it. I used it for a couple of hours the other day and just had fun clacking away. Yeah, for the price, I think it's really good.
Nice. Also, Lil Turk just donated $10. He didn't actually donate it to the direct relief, but he donated it to Top Clack. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that $10 gets into the direct relief fund because Top Clack is going to donate to this as well later on. So I'm just going to do it all at once later on. So yeah. So if you do tip us, I'm just going to put that in the Clacker's Care. But if you're trying to donate to the direct relief Clacker's Care initiative, just donate there instead of giving it to Top Clack. It's just more efficient. But anything that you do donate as a tip, like for Top Clack, I'm just gonna put it towards the Clacker's Care thing, anyways. So
yeah. Talisman's asking me when are we going to do a garage stream? Probably some point soon. I'll be able to do a little bit of a garage stream if you want. I wouldn't do it on Top Clack channel. I'll probably do it on my personal channel, which has been different for a long time. But I might do something with one of the cars on there and show some bits off to you guys and do some bits and pieces.
G-Pone just donated $900.
Who did?
G-Pone.
Oh, he did as well. $900, dude.
There goes my shirt.
We will get you that Space 65, man.
Yeah.
I if we made the $400, hey, there it is.
Yeah.
$4,000.
You now get your own personal Space 65, and Max now gets my Dolce shirt.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. He actually did it. G-Pone or GPNW, whatever.
Gotta
it is,
have audible applause on that one, guys.
Yeah. I will get that board. Let me know how you want it rebuilding. I'll give you a list of what switches I've got lying around. I'll rebuild it for you. I will ship it out for you at some point in the next week or two. Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right. DM me on Discord, Max, with your address. Send you my shirt.
But yeah, absolute legends. Well done, guys.
Yeah,
well done.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Great cause. Great cause. And hey, you're getting things out of it even, which is kind of cool.
That has to be the most expensive Space 65 ever sold, right? At $900.
But it'll be custom built by you to his spec. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, so GPNW, if you reach out to me on Discord, or if you whisper to Brian, you can join the Discord down there, and then Jay. Reach out to me that way. It's probably the best way to do it. You can whisper to the Top Clack account on here, but Brian can relay any messages to me in the morning. But Discord
way better. Way better.
Yeah,
way better.
But there you go, man. I'm psyched for that. I'm really happy to give away for that. Yeah,
that's super awesome. Yeah.
Make sure you autograph it. Hey, if he wants it autographing, man, I will do whatever he wants to that board for $900 for a good cause. Yeah. I'm completely happy with that.
Yeah, get it. Slide into Jay's DMs on Discord and tell him exactly what you want him to do to that board.
Yeah, and
in
you know
detail.
What? It might replace the build tomorrow. Actually, the build I was going to do tomorrow. Wait, I can.
That would be really cool because it would still be actually part of the Clacker's Care event.
Exactly. Yeah. If we can sort that out, I am going to go to sleep straight after the stream because it's like 5 a.m. for me and I've been up since like 1 a.m. So I'm going to go and get a couple of hours sleep. But when I wake up, if we can hash out what you want me to do to this board, I will absolutely make sure that's done on stream tomorrow night for you. So that's 8 p.m. UK time, noon PST, 3 p.m. EST. That's the slot that I've got, which is where I'll be, doing a build.
Yeah, it's your normal Sunday time though, right? 12 Pacific, 8 UK.
Yeah. This is the upgraded version as well, guys. It does have the brass rear thing. So this is
nice.
It's covered in fingerprints from where I just picked it up, but yeah, fairly used in as new condition. But yeah, I will ship you the keyboard, man, with whatever switches I've got that you would like.
And if there's switches that you don't have, we will buy some switches to build with them. If they're assuming
cool.
they're available, because top Clack, we can just expense that. It's not a big deal.
Cool. I will do that then. I will if I don't have the switches that you would like, or we can't arrange the build for tomorrow, then I'll buy the switches and charge it back to Top Clack, and Brian and I'll sort the cost of that out, assuming they're in stock somewhere and it's available for us to get. But that might take a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's got to be something that we can actually reasonably achieve.
Yeah.
in before Nixie's.
Yeah, Nixie's ain't happening. Rosie ain't happening.
That's why I said that. Yeah. Oh man,
it has to be reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did say, he says that's dope. Anything lubed and tactile stoked. Cool. Just reach out to me on Discord, dude. Message me on there, because then I can definitely take a look at it. But I would love to be able to try and hash out a deal and build it tomorrow. I probably do have some tactile switches lying around. In fact, I've got some Zelios that are just there that I could use. I think I've got enough. Let me see what else I've got. I've got some trash pandas. I don't know if there's enough there. There looks to be enough trash pandas there. I could probably use those. What else have I got that's tactile? Oh, maybe enough holy pandas. That could be quite cool. I'll have to count these and check. What else? Box pinks. I've got a ton of box pinks. I know they're more clicky, but they're still tactile. Yeah, I've got a few options.
Basically,
reach out.
Yeah, slide into his DMs, and you guys can work it out, and that'll be amazing. Once again, let's hear it for G-Pone. That was enormous $900 donation. Put us over that 4,000 mark. Wins himself a keyboard, and I get to send a shirt to someone that isn't even him. So, fantastic outcome. All right, Upas with the next question is asking, Jay, how many keyboards do you now own? How many keyboards?
I don't know. I don't have an actual count. I have no idea. It's somewhere in the 3-figure range. I'd be guessing. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. I know there's 60 in just behind me on the walls and things like that. I know there's 60 just there. But then the cupboards are full. The drawers are full. There's some at the unit. There's some in the garage. I don't know.
Nice. All right. Too many is the answer. He owns too many.
Yeah, that's probably a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much to LittleCon94 for donating $50 as well. It says, always willing to donate to charities. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Yes, this is a good one. This is definitely a good one. All right. Still trying to scroll through chat. There's a lot of chat today, guys. Penguin is asking or saying you can eat the ramen out of G-Pone's case while you have it apart.
Well, I don't have ramen, but I could probably find some instant noodles or something. If he's comfortable with me doing that. It's his board now. He's bought and paid for it, right? So, it's his.
All right, yeah. That's something that they can work out. Autograph on the shirt, too. That's up to Max. I don't know why anybody would want my autograph, but I will certainly try to sign the shirt if Max wishes it. That's pretty easy. All right, not G10. All gifting a tier 1 sub to G-Pone as well. So thank you for that, Gio. He's now part of the gang, the Cool Kids Club, or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Tal's been gifting a tier 1 sub to Max as well. So thank you so much, guys. Very, very appreciate that.
Yeah. Bloodin says I have one keyboard less than I did 20 minutes ago. That's your answer.
There's your answer.
One less than what it was 20 minutes ago, yeah.
Nice. Nebulant asking, I would donate some of the proceeds from selling a certain board and key set. Oh,
okay. If he means me and he means what I think he means, then DM me, dude, because I'm always interested in that thing.
Okay, I'm out of the loop on this one, so I'll trust you on that one.
he has a certain board in a certain color that I've been coveting for a while. It's a key cult #1 in green. I've been coveting it for a long time. If he does want to sell me, then just reach out. We'll try and hash out a deal.
Yeah, there's still a whole nother day on this, guys. We're going well into tomorrow on the Clackers Care event. It won't obviously be us always, but there will always be some great streamers there to take over, and we have a nice little kind of chain going. Ron DG says, "Jay, keyboard show and tell win." Wait, didn't Phantom Taco donated money earlier and asked us to show keyboards, so we should go grab like a couple keyboards or something while we have the time.
I can grab one here. So this is a really interesting board that I got.
I have to actually get up to go get one, so I'm going to go grab one from my closet.
Before you do that. So this is a Waytech, so I was really, really excited to pick this up. This actually has all of the bits and pieces to get it working as well. But I really like this. It's manufactured by GMK directly. It's just got some really cool legends on some of the keycaps. Just really love this whole thing. But the whole thing works. It's fully programmable. Really, really like that. What else have I had recently? I did get in the final JO2 production model. So this is the actual production model that will be going out to people who bought the JO2. It won't have the titanium plate, sadly. That's just one I had lying around. But this is all test fitting everything together, making sure everything's there. So this is the first time it's been seen outside of me and Upas. So, this is the JO2 production edition, looking pretty good. Everything fits together. New gasket design, all sorts of other things that we didn't try in the original prototype. But yeah, really excited to do that. And I guess I should show off my Space 65. That's not my Space 65 anymore. But yeah, I don't even know what switches this has got in it because I haven't used it for that long. Let me see if I can find a keycap follower and find out what switches this has actually got in it. Because if it already has tactiles in it, it might be all right.
All right, you guys.
Let's do it. It's got tangerines in it. There you go, tangerines.
Oh, that's a nice switch too.
Yeah, nice switch. Yeah. So yeah,
nice.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, looks like we'll be doing show and tell for a couple minutes here. I guess I'll start off with what board probably has the most character in my collection right now, which is this Noxury X60. This is from the original group buy. This is a fairly dated board at this point, and by today's standards, it's not even that interesting. I guess it's a top mount 60% HHKB layout. This is a really nice board though. It's actually one of my favorite. This is the original Holy Panda board. So the very first Holy Pandas, the switches that started it all, are in this board. This still uses the prototype Halo stems even. So this is like honestly an iconic board. And I've had people offer me a lot of money for this board, but not leaving my collection anytime in the near future, as far as I'm aware, unless someone offers me maybe like way too much for it. But yeah, this is just like kind of like one of the souls of my collection, I feel like. And it's cool because the board has a lot of history. The group buy was like super controversial. It lasted like over a year. It took forever to get my board. There were a lot of manufacturing issues and issues with the group buy. I got the first Holy Pandas in here. I'm using GMK Space Cadet on it now, which is one of my favorite sets. And what's fun about this set is I actually lost the queue from my set, but thanks to who was it? It was 159 of Project Keyboard and UB Undercover Brother. Because of them, they were able to get me a new queue, and now I have to try to find my other queue. So somewhere in my life, there's a missing Space Cadet queue, I think. But that's why this board is quite important to me. I also grabbed my IDB60 with GMK Cyan just because it's still a relatively new board to me, and I like it quite a bit. It's kind of my current favorite, I guess you might say. So yeah, that's my show and tell, guys. All right, still kind of going through the chat here, guys. Sorry. Melodit is asking, don't think you've talked about it yet, but thoughts on the Keycult #3 teasers. So I think we touched on it a little bit when they first announced it after they bought their new CNC or whatever it was. So yeah, they made an announcement there. But as far as like the teasers are concerned, I don't think I've actually seen them yet.
Yeah, I've seen them. I was actually talking with Salvin about them just before the show, and some other people as well. There's only two angles that we've seen so far. I'm interested to see the rest of the board. The top angle kind of slopes, and it reminds me of the Fjell kind of layout. They've then got to the traditional brass piece that runs around the middle. I don't believe it runs all the way around the board, but we haven't seen the front yet to see that. I think it kind of distracts from so the other side of it as well. From the bottom, there's kind of like these straight lines that kind of give a curved effect, and the straight lines are kind of curved and go deeper into the board. So it's a really kind of unique style on the side of the board, which looks absolutely stunning.
Oh, I did see this.
The brass bar kind of takes away from that a little bit for me personally. I think if they removed the brass and just kind of had the Fjell tile stop. Fjell style top, and then it kind of went into those straight lines that kind of get narrow and narrow and go to a point on the rear. I think I'd much prefer it, but I think it's some really intricate machining. It's very difficult to do. I can see why they've gone to Salvin for his expertise on it. And I thought those were pictures of renders, but they're not. That is a picture of an actual produced board. So
is it now? Wow,
yeah.
that is lovely. I really like that. It's very, very creative. Yeah, Melodit posted it in chat as well. Those are the links that I'm currently looking at for anyone wondering.
Yeah, that is an actual board for anyone looking at it. That's not a render, because I thought it was a render, but that's an actual board. But those lines, they're actually straight, but it makes it look curved. But they actually, from what I understand, they're not actually flush with the edge of the case. They actually get deeper and twist. Ooh, so it's almost like a staircase that twists and spirals inwards as you look towards the board, and you can kind of see that a little bit better in the second picture. So it's very, very interesting from that perspective, that whole kind of slight spiral as they go in. I do think it would look better for me personally without the brass middle piece, but I can see why they've done it. But yeah, it's an interesting board to say the least.
I think that looks really cool. I'm really excited to see more on that. I mean, leave it to Keycol, right? Like, they're kind of, you know, one of the big boys in the custom keyboard game right now, and they're really doing things well.
Yeah, they're up there, man. They're up there.
Yep, absolutely. Shout out to Pappy the Red for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate that, my friend. And it looks like catching up on questions here. Sorry, scroll through quite a bit here. Fireworm is asking, do you think top mount is out of favor compared to gasket mount? Interesting.
I think top mount's still solid, and still people like to use it. It's really consistent from a typing feel perspective as well. It's firmer than what some people like these days. I think people like gaskets because it's something new and it does soften that typing experience, and people are realizing that can be kind of nice, and firm doesn't. So for a board to feel solid and dependable, it doesn't have to have a really firm typing experience. So yeah, I think we'll see more gaskets going forward. I don't think top mount will die. I think that will keep on happening. People will still use that for years and years to come. It's always going to be around. Yeah, I'm excited to see someone come up with something new, something different, do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really cool over the last 2 years to see, you know, all the innovation with the gaskets. So many people have been trying so many different methods, as well as different materials, you know, different softnesses, hardnesses of material as well. Like, people are getting pretty creative with it. And it's always really fun to see that. I've thoroughly enjoyed the gasket mount trend, you know, for better or worse, even on some of the less popular boards with them. But, like, you know, I think gasket mount has been turning out all right, but like Jay said, I think top mount is just classic. It's just never going to die out. I think it's just easier to achieve than a gasket mount design, just because we're so used to it these days. It's often a little cheaper and a little easier to implement, and it is kind of the tried and true method. But I do think that most gasket mount tends to be more interesting for me than most top mount. But mounting style is just a piece of the puzzle. You know, the switches, the rest of the board, you know, your lube, literally everything matters. So it's hard to put all of it on just one thing, you know.
It does, yeah.
Arn Josh is asking, looks like our most recent question, we finally caught up here. Not sure if this has been asked. I'm really interested in JTK Zen, but have never owned JTK ABS. JTK versus GMK, are they big difference?
Yeah, so I think that if you want pure quality, then GMK is better than JTK. I mean, the plastics they use are the same. The colours might be slightly different, but the actual composition of the plastic is the same. The mold process is very different for JTK than it is for GMK. But I mean, JTK have been doing really well recently. They've been coming up. Some of the sets have been really, really good. The Hype Abused set they did a while back really kick-started some better legends, better quality control, better compatibility. And I've picked up JTK Zen because I really like it, and I think the price is pretty good as well. The fact that you get free alphas with every base kit is unbelievable. You get 2 full sets of alphas for like $90 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The base kit, I can't remember the price. It's a really good price. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to, right? Like, GMK is undoubtedly a better quality product than JTK, but you pay a lot less for JTK in a lot of situations. So it depends on what you value and how much money you want to spend and are willing to spend, I suppose. I mean, if you're really trying to get the higher quality item, though, and I think you got to just go for the GMK. But like Jay said, JTK Zen is looking pretty nice, especially for the price. He's also following up asking any significant differences, especially sound. I think it's going to be more of a biological kind of effect. It's more of just who's typing on it, because a lot of people think that they sound very different, and a lot of people think they sound really similar. So I mean, at the end of the day, they are still ABS, and they are still 1.5 millimeter, and they are still double shot. So it's like the products aren't terribly different, so they should sound fairly similar. I would argue there's a small difference in sound, just a slightly higher clackiness on the JTK in my experience. But I'm certainly not going to, write a thesis on that or whatever. Like, depending on who you are, that answer could be entirely different.
Yeah, I think for the money, I think they're absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah, right. And like some people are more or less susceptible to that kind of stuff. Some people can't tell the difference between lubes. Some people can't tell the difference between linear switches. It's just it's going to be up to your personal being at the end of the day, and what you're able to perceive.
Cool. Okay, in other news, it looks like GPNW and I have hashed out a deal for what we're going to do to his board.
Nice.
So I'm going to build the board for him on stream tomorrow. I'm going to work out which switches I've got. He's comfortable with any of the options, so I'll count them after I've had a couple of hours sleep and work out which I've got. I'll lube them pre-stream, and we'll build it tomorrow. I'm also, because he donated so much, when it ships, I'm going to send him a set of GMK Bleached as well, because I bought quite a few extras of that. So I'm going to chuck him in a key set as well, because $900 is a huge amount just for a keyboard. So I'm going to chuck him in a set of GMK Bleach as well. That will ship after the board, but I've got his address, got everything else. So if you do want to come and check out me build GP&W's at Space 65, I'll have to desolder it, because I assume he wants ANSI. The only thing I don't have off him just yet is the layout that he wants, but I assume he wants ANSI. So I'll desolder the board tomorrow, and on the stream tomorrow, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. EST, noon PST, we will be building his board up for him.
Yeah. Definitely won't want to miss that one, guys, because that's going to be a fantastic stream. And again, like we mentioned earlier, it is part of the Clackers Care event still. So that's going to be the second to last stream, I think. I think Minterly has a block after you as well. Yeah. So that's going to be awesome as well. I'm sure she'll round things off quite nicely. So looks like we're actually caught up on the Q&A. So maybe now's a good time to swap over and maybe end this show and swap over to the build stream, because at this point, I think I'm running a little low on time to build a full size, so I'm going to have to try to speed through this, I think.
I believe you, dude. You can do it. I think you can get through it.
Yeah. I anticipated it was going to take me a minimum of 3 hours to complete the build on stream. On stream, because when you're building on stream, it's triple the time every single time. And, I mean, I'm going to be talking about the event and stuff as well, so... we'll work it out. Worst case scenario, maybe I do a 2-part stream and I finish it up tomorrow after the Clackers Care event as kind of a follow-up.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, just in case I don't finish it today. So we'll see. But yeah, that is that. So I guess now is probably as good a time as any to round this out and then swap over. So basically, what's going to happen here, guys, is we are going to continue the stream. However, I need to end the stream for just a second. I'm just going to end it for a second. I'm going to change my my source. I'm splitting it up for VOD purposes. It's way easier. So if I end the stream for just a second, I'm going to turn it back on, and I'm going to be back with a Southpaw full-size build, and I'll be there until 1 a.m. Pacific, as that's when my block ends. So you guys aren't done with me yet. You're not rid of me yet. So Make sure
you got rid of me.
Yeah,
Although it's daylight now. It's daylight.
Yeah, you're about to be rid of Jay for a little bit, but he's going to get some sleep, and then he's going to come back stronger than ever with that epic stream for the build tomorrow. So make sure you won't want to miss that, and we'll get to see if we hit that 10,000 goal, and we both have to clean shave as well. Already lost a shirt. Am I going to lose what hides my double chin as well? Why does every incentive have to be embarrassing? I'm just kidding. I'll survive. I'll find another build shirt. Maybe I could sweet talk Mountain Blocks into doing another run of them or something.
I like how you're more bothered about the shirt than the,
it's actually, I'm not lying, guys. It's actually my favorite shirt. I wear it more than any other shirt. Like, I wear it, like, it's one of the only shirts I actually wear when I'm in, like, bed, because it's so comfortable. The fact that he wants it unwashed is kind of hilarious, too, though. So, it is what it is. Yeah. So, any closing thoughts for this segment of the stream, Jay?
I've had an absolute blast today doing the stream. I thought it was really good that we managed to get that $4,000 mark that we set as a target right at the very beginning of the stream. So just over $2,400, I think, on this portion of the stream. So we've done really, really well. Big shout out to GPNW and everyone else who's donated during this segment. Please keep it up. I do want to see that 10,000 goal smashed. I think we can do really, really well on that. So well done to everyone. Brian, I'm sorry I won't be staying up to watch your stream, but I will catch up on it later, and I'm probably going to watch it whilst I desolder this board for the build stream tomorrow.
Nice, awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and end this stream on that note, guys. But of course, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna be back literally in seconds, guys. I'm coming right back, I promise. And I'm gonna finish getting set up for this build stream. And we're gonna kind of rock it on, and we're gonna talk about the Clacker's Care event, and maybe I'll even pull on one or two people, and we can have a little discussion. I know Heinebush was actually interested in coming on and talking with me, so maybe I'll even have a little bit of a surprise guest audio appearance. So wait and see, guys.
Nice.
We'll see what happens. Anything's possible. It's a build stream for me, so it's gonna be super chill, super casual, and it's late night with DJ Quakens. Easy peasy. We're listening to some tunes.
Awesome.
It's gonna be good stuff. So. Yes, thank you guys so much for watching this portion, and of course, don't go anywhere. I will be back momentarily, and I will be down one British man.
Yeah, and I'll see you guys in a few hours when my build stream starts.
All right. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
See ya.